Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Geekery Abides. Couple minutes late. Sorry about that. Ran a little bit long. And then, of course,
Hello
just
there.
the normal tech changeover from one episode to the next. Indeed, Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello there.
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think that's going to become a tradition in our YouTube opens.
Unless I delete that button from you.
Then we're gonna.
Suck it to my veins.
That's all I've got on my pedal right now.
Then we're gonna have issues if you do that.
Oh, man. Let's see. It's showing 0, but I know that's not real. So,
Well, it just barely kicked over for me. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on my side it's showing 0 listeners, but I know that you're in there at least. Let
And
alone,
there's my wife as well.
I was about to say, let alone, I'm pretty sure it said 2 waiting. It's weird. It'll say like 2 or 3 waiting, but then I'll start the show and it'll show 0 for a bit. I don't know why. But either way, we're here for episode 44 of Geekery Abides. Let's go ahead and hit the old intro and get started.
Let's do it.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
You the proud, the geeky.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
I was just noticing on the screen, and there's Hayden. I was just going to say,
There it is.
hey, Hayden, I got my shirt on for you here. I think he's laughing because of Mrs. Doubtfire
Yeah.
would be my suspicion. So
No, I think he's laughing at Captain Howdy.
maybe.
He says I hate it.
But yeah, hell, I guess we should start. We got sidetracked right off the intro.
That's
but we
what
are,
we do.
We are here with episode 44 of Geekery Abides. My name is Tad, and with me, as always, is Peter. We are here in the middle of spooky season. I mean, spooky season's 365. But for the normies, we are
Yes.
now in official spooky season that nobody can argue with. So,
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Mrs. Of course, this is
Yes.
Doubtfire. I figured that's what it was. He and I say that to each other all the time.
Hello there.
That's just a lot. No, the hello.
Oh no, the one that we use in my house is "Help is on the way, dear."
Help is on the way, dear.
It's like, "Hey, babe, can you help me? Help is on the way, dear."
Oh man, I love that movie so much. I really do. Even though it's a psychological horror now.
Oh, you stop it.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Where they edit the trailer to look like, and
Yes.
it's not that hard.
Stop it.
It's really not that hard. Also, growing up is when you're a kid, you side with Robin Williams and the kids, and like,
Yeah.
oh, the mom's a bitch. Then as you grow up, you realize, like, oh my god, like.
He's not a great dad.
He's
Is
a
he?
fucking lunatic. No, she was only a bad mom because she let him stick around as long as she did. Jesus Christ. That's truly growing up. All right, so let's jump on in to episode 44. First of all, we have our email addresses if you want to. Oop. That is the wrong pedal. If you want to email the show, that you can email either of us directly. It's peter@geekeryabides.com or tad, T-A-D-D, @geekeryabides.com. And just so everyone knows, Peter did forward over a list to me.
I checked my email.
Also,
Tad had to remind me, but I checked my email.
also on the last episode, John commented and said, "Oh, thanks for reading my list since I sent it to you and not Peter."
Oh,
Oh, I love it.
it
Yeah.
hurts my feelings and my face.
Hey, your wife made a remark about it last episode.
I know she
too.
did.
So, let's see. Hayden, just goes to show tonally the storytelling can go either way, framed in comedic or horror settings. Indeed. I mean, when it gives like the sinister music when he's like turning his face as Mrs. Doubtfire. So funny.
Well, it's just like they say the ending of Predator can be set to any
Oh, dude,
sitcom.
so funny. More movies need to do that though. Like, more movies need to do that. Like, I don't know.
Just not horror movies. I don't want Hayden to feel comfortable when he's walking out of a horror movie. I still want him on edge.
No, I mean, imagine just like the demon is sitting there like,
like that,
Smiling
like what's
and
on your shirt, smiling.
giving the thumbs up at the tail end there.
I could take a thumbs up from Captain Howdy. That'd be fun.
Does Captain Howdy have thumbs though?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's the question though.
Or is it just claws?
3 fingers like the Omen, the long gangly
Maybe a long one like a velociraptor, so we could click, 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 click.
scratch on the side of housing. Because that's always good for horror when you can make his scratchy sounds.
Like Freddy walking down the
when he stretches his
Yeah.
arms and that thing,
Yes.
it's genius. So next up we've got watching, reading, playing, and that's your episode. So I'll let you go ahead and decide how we're going to go on this.
Go ahead, sir. I know you got a lot to tell us about.
Yeah. So
So I want you to go first with this because mine's gonna. Well, actually, let me go first because mine's gonna be anticlimactic.
okay.
So watching still the same stuff. Criminal Minds, Agatha All Along, Penguin. I did finish Monster, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story.
Say it one more time.
Monster, the Eric and Lyle.
What was before that though?
Penguin?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Watched that second episode. Dude, you blew my mind telling me that on Friday that it's not airing every week on the same day. Like they dropped the first episode on like a Wednesday,
Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday.
but now it's airing on. Now it's
Sunday.
dropping
Which
on Sundays.
makes sense because I remember thinking that when it dropped on my birthday, as I was like, "Wait, HBO, one of their biggest shows of the tail end of the
Yeah.
year, and it's not on Sunday nights? Like
Yeah.
that's HBO's night."
Yeah.
So it just weirded me out. So I looked it up, and it's like, "Oh, it's episode 2 and through the rest of the season Sunday." I'm like, "Oh, thank God." But I'm like, "That's weird though."
It was weird. Yeah, it caught me
Oh,
off
wait,
guard.
though, was that early in football season? I wonder if Sunday night was strategically picked not to launch the show.
Oh, maybe
That could have been a thing.
it was.
So,
It was during football, so
Yeah.
it would have been. It would have been right at the same time as Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
HBO seems to usually not care, but
I'm currently not reading anything. I've just been listening to podcasts. So Desperation's on hold. That's the book that I was in the middle of.
yeah.
And then playing Dead by Daylight, Spider-Man, Madden, and I re-downloaded Red Alert 2 and played a skirmish this morning.
Gotta love that.
It's just, dude,
It's great, man. It hasn't been topped in 20-something years.
Yeah.
So
it's so good. They did bring it to Steam, by the way.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I don't know if I can-
now it's a matter of them remastering it. 'Cause they
Dude.
remastered the first Command and Conquer, and then
Yeah.
I think the first Red Alert, but they haven't gone to Red Alert 2 yet. So I'm hoping that's
if they do, I'm there day one.
Oh,
So,
absolutely, absolutely.
what about you? What are you reading? Watching, playing?
So I'll go backwards. Star Wars Outlaws is all I'm still playing. I did finish The Stand finally. Probably one of the longest reads I've ever had. The Stand. I just kept getting interrupted with podcasts and different things. So yeah, I ended up finishing that a few days ago. And then I also what I started in after finishing that is Star Wars Thrawn. So I've read that book. It's there's a trilogy, and then I believe there's a second trilogy that's almost like a prequel, I think. But I'm which fitting for Star Wars. But these, but somehow there was one time I was looking on Audible 6-8 months ago, something like that, and I was like, oh, a new Thrawn book, and it's like, this is part 2 in the series. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go. And it's like I went and looked at the series. And it's like book 1 you've read, book 3 you've read.
Like, wait, what?
Somehow I completely missed the second book.
Really?
I mean, I remember vaguely that like the second book, which turns out was the third book, there were some things where I'm like, oh man, they did some time jumps here. I don't know what's going on. I wasn't completely.
Weird. This guy's suddenly 80 years old, and he was 20 in the first book. Man,
Well,
that's-
it's Star Wars. They jump around timelines a little bit, but I wasn't like completely confused. But like, yeah, then I ended up finding that out. So now I've decided I'm going to go through and read the whole thing with the second book included. So doing that, and then watching Agatha All Along, The Penguin, and The Bear on Hulu.
nice.
Is my TV shows. Agatha, what are you thinking?
Ooh, so good.
That is indeed it's Billy for sure. Teen is Billy.
Yeah.
I'm more convinced now. I think he put the hex on himself. Agatha set it up by saying the person that set the hex may not even remember doing it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, so he did it to himself. Some people are wondering if maybe Wanda did it before she died. Hexed him so that Agatha couldn't figure out who she was. Also, some of the lines dropped by Audrey Plaza make me think she is indeed Lady Death.
Yeah.
There was some, and the fact that
Well,
she was nearby.
She's also like, then I get him, right?
Yeah, there's that, and then she's like, she said something about bodies in the first episode, and then when she says I was near, like it just threw what was nearby, which is me. Well,
She comes out of the grave.
Sharon just died, so she's there to harvest the soul and gets pulled in. So
And comes out of the grave, yeah.
yeah. My God, though. Aubrey Plaza. Sweet Jesus. Yeah. And then I decided to be a maniac, and
Yes.
I decided to set myself a watch list of 50 horror movies. Turns out it's 51 now because Salem's Lot just came out.
Yep.
But 50 movies in 31 days. And so that has started on the 1st.
Yep.
And so far I have watched Host, which is really fun. I think Zoom seances is something we should all do as a group. That'd be really fun.
No.
And then Curse of Chucky, the last one before the Mark Hamill reboot. And that one was really fun. I really enjoyed that. Chucky's always a fun little guy to spend some time with. Finally got around to watching, and everything on this list is stuff I've not seen before. It's stuff that I've just missed over the years.
Yeah, 50 movies that he's missed over the years.
And all-
he's going back and rewatching in 31 days.
Not rewatching, watching.
Sorry, watching.
Yeah. And I would say probably a good guess is 40 of them are ones that are probably this century. So to today's main topic, there's a lot of 21st century horror that I've just missed on. There are some older ones on my list, a couple, but most of them are 21st century.
Yeah.
So The Purge was day 3. And then yesterday I had my first triple header. I watched The Lighthouse, the Robert Eggers movie with Pattinson and Dafoe. And then I went to Mandy, the crazy Nick Cage movie, which was something else.
Yeah.
I did not expect that movie to be what it was. And then the I just blanked. Lovecraftian movie, Color of Space, or Color Out of Space, which is also Nick Cage. That I kind of picked that one out on purpose, those 3 movies to be together, because I thought all 3 of those are kind of batshit from what I understood from their reputation. So I stocked all those together, and then tonight is The Thing from Outer Space, which is the original Thing that John Carpenter remade in 83. So that's tonight, as well as I think I'm going to throw Salem's Lot in tonight, because it's a busy schedule. So throughout this episode, next episode, and then the episode in November, my watching will include the Horror-a-thon 2024 updates.
So, speaking of that, my wife says watching Haunting of Hill House, she watched the whole series, Criminal Minds, Agatha All Along, Smile, Strangers, and Salem's Lot. So me and her watched Salem's Lot yesterday, and she is doing a horror-a-thon where she watches 1 or 2 horror movies, maybe 3 a week. And then she's reading The Furry and First Lie Wins, and playing Dead by Daylight and Dreamlight Value. And then Hayden says he's watching Agatha, Penguin, Rings of Power, The Packers with a laughing emoji, South Park latest episodes and specials. And Hayden has a very good point, Ted. He says, Ted, you should post your calendar schedule for all to see.
I will say that my calendar's moved around. I think originally, because we were going to do our hangout yesterday, but we ended up for the other show. We moved that to next week, and then because of that, next week, then the 11th was when I was going to watch these 3 batshit movies. So those had to get moved.
Yeah.
So there's been some motion on it. What I do want to do. We don't really have a website for this show, but I'll put it in the description after the video's posted and stuff. But I will link my Letterboxd, where I'm doing my cataloging it, giving short reviews on the movies and stuff.
That's where you can do Letterboxd is where you can do custom lists, stuff like that, and you give your reviews of it and everything.
Yes.
So I went and looked at it. I read a couple of your reviews for some of these movies that I haven't seen. So
so it's so that's been fun. I will share that. Again, since we don't have a website, I don't really have a good way to show like the calendar necessarily, but it is going to be a lot of fun, I think. So
you have it on your phone though. So what's tomorrow's movie?
Tomorrow is the 6th, right? 30 Days of Night.
Ooh, vampires.
Vampires. I believe that's got Josh Hartnett.
I believe so. That's where vampires come to like an Alaskan town, and it's one of those ones where there's like very little or no sunlight. So for 30 days. So vampires run amok.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. Another one that I had to move was Hush, the Mike Flanagan horror slasher movie with a deaf lady as the primary thing, which is an interesting concept of like whatever, because that one is coming out, finally getting a physical release. It's actually been out of like, you couldn't even stream it for the longest time. It's just, it didn't exist. It did get brought back on a digital services to purchase and stuff, and then they also announced a disc, but it doesn't come out till like late November. But I believe Shudder is getting it later in the month, and I had it this week, I think, so I had to bump it till it was on Shudder, because it's like, I'm already buying it on disc. I don't want to like pay money to rent it too. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to double, triple dip on this. So there's been some movement for sure, but that's what's coming up. This episode and the next two, I will have updates.
Yeah.
And you'll end up being able to piece together. But I will link in the comment or the description of this video. Once we're done with the live stream, I'll throw my letterboxed link in there to where you can go and read along my list as we go.
He ranks
So.
them out of 5 stars and then gives a summary of what he thought.
Yeah, and they do allow half stars. So in my mind, it's a 10. It's because I like 1 out of
okay.
10 rankings. But it's like if you do half a stars, you're basically doing a 10, right? Because
Yeah.
like half a star is 1, a full star is 2, and
Okay.
so that's usually how I view it. But then I'll throw a little short review. But yeah, Letterboxd is fun, and you can also follow me on there if you're a Letterboxd person. So let's go ahead and jump on into the news. First one up here: Gladiator 3 is coming.
Wait,
Yes.
I haven't seen Gladiator 2 yet.
Gladiator 2 has not come out yet, but Ridley Scott said, with that, I'm already toying with the idea of Gladiator 3. No, seriously, I've lit the fuse. The ending of Gladiator 2 is reminiscent of The Godfather, with Michael Corleone finding himself with the job he didn't want and wondering, now, Father, what do I do? So the next Gladiator film would be about the man who doesn't want to be where he is. So it's, I mean...
Spoiling 2. All right, here we go.
Just hook it to my vein!
Ridley Scott
Ridley's a
and
fucking
Gladiator,
legend,
yeah.
dude. I mean, he's a legend in general. So it's like the longer this dude in his like 80s is making movies, the better we are as a society. So like,
Yeah.
fucking let's do it, dude. I'm excited for Gladiator 2 as well, but definitely out of the blue, I was not expecting a Gladiator 3
Yeah.
announcement. That wasn't on my bingo card for 2024 for sure. So let's see, Caden, yes, and fuck Alaska.
Yeah, he doesn't like Alaska for some reason.
He also
I don't know why.
He also says his laughing emoji is due to them watching them play doesn't count as a show, but I watch it consistently all the same about the Packers. So
My wife says they never specify a movie or show. Like,
Yeah.
So it's whatever you're watching, so Packers count. So if you're watching baseball, put baseball on there. You're watching football, put football on there. You're watching cricket, put cricket on there.
yeah, indeed. If you're watching Mrs. Doubtfire, definitely put that on there.
Hello.
All right, next up we've got our green.
Just hook it!
Oops, that's the wrong that's the wrong thing.
Hitting the wrong pedal.
I'm
Are
asleep.
you
at
in
this-
England today on the wrong side of the road or something?
I think their pedals are on the same side. though.
Are they? No, they're on the other side of the car.
But we have our Hal Jordan, and it is Kyle Chandler.
Who?
Definitely not what we were expecting. We have the rumors that it was offered to Brolin. I believe we covered it last episode that he turned it down. But then
Looking up Kyle Chandler now.
Matthew McConaughey and Ewan McGregor.
Oh, the main guy in Friday Night Lights.
I was going to
Okay.
say, Friday Night Lights is the one that I tend to hear a lot of people mention. I've never watched that,
Who the
but
hell does he look like?
he looks kind of like one of the Wilson brothers to me.
Luke?
He looks like just vaguely, not in like a heavy way, but at a glance, it was like, oh, he's kind of like a Kmart.
No, he looks like Ron Livingston. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, I wouldn't have picked that, but
Yeah, he looks a lot. Holy shit, they look
But yeah,
a lot alike.
so he is playing the role of Green Lantern after
Hal Jordan.
Yeah, after Brolin turned it down. We had the rumors that McConaughey would be offered it, and then Ewan McGregor. Somehow we got here to Kyle Chandler. Well, that is what will bring us to the next news article, which is the rumor that 5 A-list actors turned the role down for Hal Jordan.
Including,
We don't know. It doesn't spell it out, but since
but
the
we knew, like,
yeah, the rumor,
Brolin, then McConaughey, then McGregor, because you were
McGregor.
all upset. How can McGregor be third?
Yeah, and then I've also heard some rumors since this that potentially maybe because that would be Brolin, McConaughey there. So that's 2 more that we're missing allegedly. I have also heard the name Chris Pine as a potential one that they may have offered it to as well. But we know that Brolin turned it down. Beyond that, though, it would all be speculation and going off of rumors that we've covered in the past. Brolin was interviewed recently and said that he thinks that Chandler's going to do wonderful with the role. So he's given his kind words there. An industry leaker reported that the 5 big-name actors turned down the role largely because they felt that there was too much baggage with the hero due to the 2011 film. So it wasn't.
Oh, they don't want to have to try and outdo Ryan Reynolds. Okay, I see.
I did see one where someone tweeted recently, and I remember you saying you didn't hate the thing.
I
but,
didn't hate
but
it.
the person was like, he keeps making fun of like Green Lantern himself. He's like, how is this dude ripping on it so hard when he did Ripped like 2 years later?
Yeah.
Which is a much worse movie. That was the person's
It's
claim in the
it's R.I.P.D.
whatever the fuck it shouldn't exist. Next up, we've got a rumor that Rocksteady is developing a new Batman game. So
Don't.
there, So the rumor part of the rumor includes that Sony might be willing to foot part of the bill, which would probably make it a Sony exclusive to keep it off of Xbox. I don't think they ever really put those on Nintendo, do they? But they have
all the Batman Arkham games are available on the Switch.
Okay, but then the thought in the industry, insider thought is that Suicide Squad game that they did bombed pretty massively.
Yeah.
So the thought process is most likely they're looking at what we know works, and they would return to that rather than keep trying things that are radically different that didn't pan out. So, which makes logical sense to me. I know this is just a rumor, but that follows. Like,
Yeah.
We've seen that from companies before where they kind of shit the bed on something and then they just go back to like, well, cool, we know what works. Like,
Well, let's go make Mass Effect 3.
yeah, exactly. So now I will say though, doesn't Sony do PC stuff eventually too? So
Eventually. Rocksteady does stuff right away.
yeah, but if Sony was putting a chunk of money into
I don't know if
developing
they
it,
would. I don't know if they would control it or not. It would depend.
Well,
but
they wouldn't. Yeah, they probably wouldn't put money into it without at least a period of exclusivity, right? Like,
Yeah.
why would you foot the bill on that?
It's bittersweet if it does happen because this will be the first Rocksteady Batman game without Conroy.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And which means it'll be the first one.
Good night, sweet prince.
Which means that we will not have Joker Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Because he said that he's not. He'll
Who's doing the Batman voice now? There's an actor that's I thought fairly well known that's doing.
There's several that are doing it actually. Jensen Ackles did Long Halloween Part 1 and 2, the
Yeah.
animated film.
Because the kid from The Boys, the main actor of The Boys, is Superman in a bunch of
Suicide
cartoons.
Squad, Kill the Justice League. Kevin Conroy played Batman. It was his last role as Batman. Last time playing Batman, which is why at one point in my life I will own that game just so I can have all of the Kevin Conroy in my life that I can get because
Yeah.
that man is Batman for
Well,
me.
that's his last game, but there's the Justice League animated that I thought they said is the last performance he ever did.
Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Part 2 or whatever,
Part 3.
which is actually
part 2,
is
yeah.
actually his world being wiped away.
Yeah.
So it's the last line's
I
pretty
watched
fitting.
the second one, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched 1 and 2. I haven't seen 3 yet. It hasn't come to
It hasn't
Max.
come out yet, I think. Yeah, so that's interesting. Next up, we've got I don't know why, but the rumor is the DCU is developing a Bane and Deathstroke film. Not 2 films, but a film that would have Bane and Deathstroke. I don't know if it's like a buddy cop movie or what.
All right.
But, although I will say I don't know if the strategy is going to change now that I don't know what Joker's box office is doing, but I know commercially the second Joker is not faring very well. I don't know if you've been following that at all, but
I've seen your social media updates about it, and I'm like, I was curious, and I went and read a couple reviews to see, like, okay, well, I understand they're bad, but why? Like,
Yeah.
what are they saying and everything like that? And it's like, there's a whole bunch of musical numbers, and then it turns into a court drama, and I'm like,
I don't remember.
that's a choice.
I don't remember
You know?
if I shared it, but I saw a tweet where it's like the new Joker movie is basically like the last episode of Seinfeld, where it's just a court scene of recapping the first movie the whole time.
I don't think it's doing too bad at the box office.
And it probably won't.
It
but.
says it has one day. It came out officially yesterday. It did $20 million, so
Yeah.
that's
But then again, they also made the first movie for $50 million, and they made this one for $200 million. So they've got a lot bigger. Now that doesn't count any marketing either.
No.
So, which is insane to me. Like, why not just make another $50 million movie? The first one was successful doing that. So
I just saw Hayden's message about Green Lantern. Shocked they didn't give Ryan Reynolds a look.
imagine if they did, dude.
Dude, it would not be allowed.
Can you imagine? All right. So next up, we've got the DCU. James Gunn announces that the DC animated film being made next is Dynamic Duo, starring Dick
Robbins?
Grayson
Oh,
and
okay.
Jason Todd.
I was gonna say it's gonna be Robins, right? Like at least one Robin. Like dynamic. You can't do Dynamic Duo and then do like Superman and Green Lantern or some shit like that.
No, it is.
There is only one Dynamic Duo.
Yeah, it's Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. James Gunn said, quote, "Over the moon excited to announce the newest DC Studios Warner Brothers picture animation greenlit film for theaters. Dynamic Duo, the story of Robin, or should I say Robins, as in Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. The first feature film from the visionary Swaybox, a mix of animation, puppetry, and CGI. That is interesting.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. A script from the wonderfully talented Matt Aldrich, produced with our partners at Matt Reeves's Sixth in Idaho. So Matt Reeves' studio is involved.
All right.
This is something special. So that's what James said. So I figured you'd be.
I wonder
happy
if this
about
is the
that.
transition of Dick from Robin to Nightwing and Jason becoming Robin.
Could be.
That would be interesting to see. Like, Batman's gone, and so Dick has to take over. There's also like what is it, Nightfall? I think is the one where Batman gets his back broken, and
Yeah.
Dick is thinking he's going to take up the mantle, but he gives it to Azrael.
Yeah.
And so Dick and Jason and the whole Bat family have to deal with this fucking insane person being Batman. That's always fun, right?
Just bring Frank Castle and he'll take care of Gotham.
No. Also, fuck you for your crowbar comment and the little tagline down there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No word on the crowbar yet. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, too soon? It's been 20 years. It's
Yeah.
fine. Or 25, 30. God knows how long.
30
it's been
since
now.
the 90s, sir.
Yeah. Next up, this is actually more of a speculation one, but it is kind of interesting. Is the Penguin setting up No Man's Land?
Very well could be.
So
Absolutely.
this still fairly early in the show, so it's hard to say what the show is actually going to do. We're so early, we don't know. But we know Reeves has said this show is going to lead directly into Batman 2, The Batman 2. So Batman No Man's Land takes place after Gotham City is devastated by a massive earthquake, which could be
Replaced with a flood.
a massive flood. The U.S. government
Or, hear me out, they're dealing with the aftermath of this man-made flood, and then there's a fucking 9.7 earthquake.
which could have a tsunami as well.
Yeah.
Just redo the tidal
Dude.
wave,
Yeah. You're looking at some batshit stuff happening if you do that.
so to speak. The U.S. government declares the city beyond saving, cutting it off from the rest of the country and leaving the remaining inhabitants to fend for themselves. So
Which leaves
escape.
behind
So
Batman.
escape from New Yorkish.
Yeah,
Really
they don't let
just-
people out either. That's the other
Well,
thing.
that's escape from New York. They just basically turn the whole thing into a prison, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And you can't leave the island, otherwise you get shot. But
Yeah.
this one's a little bit different because those are American citizens, not, convicts.
yeah. In the chaos that follows, Gotham descends into anarchy, with different parts of the city being controlled by the rival gangs and supervillains such as the Joker, Two-Face, and Penguin. Amidst the lawless wasteland, Batman struggles to maintain order and protect the innocent. Gotham's police force, led by Commissioner Gordon, also attempts to restore justice, though they are often overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the crisis. So yeah, that's not a bad speculation for being early on in the Penguin. I mean, again, we don't know where the
Yeah.
fuck this is going.
It's only 2 episodes in.
It's only 2 episodes in, and I don't think we've really seen anything that's a shocker. I feel like they told us in advance that like we're going to start and there's still going to be water. Like this
Yeah.
is in the immediate aftermath of the Batman.
I did notice that they put dates out in episode 2.
Oh,
Carmine Falcone was murdered by the Riddler on November 5th, 2022.
okay.
So we know when this happened.
Yeah.
We know the day that it happened. So, like, you could actually, like, November 5th, a month from when we're recording this episode, you could do a memorial for Carmine Falcone. It's the 2-year anniversary.
I mean,
of
John
his-
Turturro is pretty awesome, so
I mean,
we should have a remembrance
Is it,
for him.
is it the? I'm doubting myself now if it's the 5th. But no, like, there's a scene where it's at his crypt. It's not a gravestone.
yeah.
It's at the crypt. It shows his plaque, and it says November Day 2022. So,
Maybe it's because of the Tales from the Crypt, but I've always wanted to be buried in a crypt. I think there's something cool about that.
Tad, when you die, we're burning your evil corpse, and, like, one part's going, the ashes are going to Australia, one part's going to Africa. We're not letting it stay together because we're all worried you're going to come back.
I'll be back.
And Hayden says agreed. See?
I always come back. Also, a tangent. I did see a thing from Colin Farrell saying he's not sure anyone's going to like Oz by the end of the show, and he says that he was pretty shocked by some of the stuff the character does over the course of the show.
Anyone like Oz already? I mean,
I think he's pretty likable. I mean, in the first, he's. I think that.
I mean, he's a penguin, for God's sakes. Let's not forget this. All right.
Of course, you hate him. Oh man, that's glorious.
I don't
It
like-
just makes me
I don't
wonder.
like penguins.
It just reminds me of. It just makes me wonder how dark this show is actually going to go, because
It's been pretty bad so far.
it has. And then Hayden says, working title 2 Robin's One Nest. Dynamic
Yes.
duo. And then he says, Kristen Milotti, Sophia Falcone is my new favorite actress. I let her move into my house and cook her a nice steak dinner, and cook her a nice steak dinner. And I'm like, Dorothy Mantooth, I'd speak to her again. That's a Anchorman reference. Gotta love that.
Oh, okay.
We all need to watch Anchorman at some
We
point.
do.
It would be an absolute joy for you guys to experience Hayden watching that.
Watching Anchorman.
Next up, this is a rumor. Zaslav from Warner Brothers allegedly wants a Batman movie sooner than later. Apparently, Zaslav feels that Batman is needed to compete with Marvel better and wants it sooner than later for the DCU. The rumor also addresses that if Pattinson could, because of this, Pattinson might end up becoming the actual DCU Batman. There's a part of this rumor is that because he wants it so soon, they're wondering if they're just going to transition Pattinson into being the DCU Batman rather than the Brave and the Bold. We don't know. That's just the rumor right now. We don't even know if ultimately if Zaslav this is actually really a thing, but it doesn't sound wrong. You know, like he probably knows like one of the strongest cards in your deck is Batman. So
I mean, it's Batman.
yeah. So it's like
the Marvel hero trapped in the DC universe.
Indeed. So this is true. I would guess Brave and the Bold with Andy Muschietti might be toast because Andy Muschietti was the director of Brave and the Bold. So I don't know. That's all just a rumor. It's also worth noting that Gunn has said that Reeves would be producing both in his Batman universe and also the DCU. So one way or another, Reeves is going to have a hand in the DCU. It's just a matter of to what extent now.
Yeah.
So very interesting. We'll have to see what comes of that.
Interesting with what we talked about a couple episodes
yeah,
ago,
with
where
what the DCU
they
is.
were saying like, no, we're not going to do Fantastical in the Reeves verse.
Yeah.
But in the DCEU, we are.
It's yeah.
So what does that mean for this Batman that's supposed to be staying grounded?
And I know this is not James Gunn's choice. If this ends up happening, we guarantee Zaslav forced his hand, right?
And if that's the case, if he does force it, does that mean that Gunn's going to force Reeves' hand to making Batman a little bit more fantastical to fit the DCEU?
I don't know.
Or are we going to have the outlandish stuff that we had from previous Batman? Like, I always felt like it was kind of silly that we have Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, and all these characters, and then Batman's like super dark and gritty. It's like they're all comic book characters. Treat them as such, kind of thing. It's all or nothing. You can't do halfway though. That's the problem.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see what comes of this. We'll certainly track it as we move. Right now, we're on course for 2026 for the Batman 2.
I don't know. I deleted my countdown.
Oh, pretty sure that's what it still is. So, next up, moving over into the horror realm, which is happy times for this time of the year.
I love horror.
First of all, Freddie Prinze Jr. has officially joined I Know What You Did Last Summer, the Legacy sequel. That's
we got
out.
a new one? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Have we not talked about it?
I don't think
so.
so.
It's been in development. It's got a young cast and everything, but apparently now Freddie Prinze has jumped on in. He is now going to be returning.
Excellent.
To the I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is going to be a legacy sequel to the original 1997 film, which that's how it's being portrayed. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to ignore the sequel, which wouldn't be.
It's been done before.
Yeah, it's been done. Also, the rumor also is that Jennifer Love Hewitt is reportedly in talks to reprise her role as well.
Nice.
Unfortunately, Sarah Michelle Gellar did not survive the first movie, so they can't bring her back.
Whoa! Spoiler alert.
Yeah, 1997. It's been a while.
Hey, you never know. She might come back from the dead. She's done it before.
He's and your wife says I love Freddie Prinze. Me too. He's a wonderful Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best Jedis.
So the film is scheduled to release on July 18th, which is interesting that they're going to do a summer release.
Dude, summer horror movies are becoming so popular.
But I always feel that I put a little bit more credence into them because I feel like if a studio is willing to drop a fucking horror movie in the middle of the summer blockbusters, it's one they have a lot of hope in. And they believe is going to move the needle. Because I think one of the Conjuring movies came out in the middle of like July too. So,
Hayden says Jennifer Love Hewitt makes me feel things that are unspeakable for public chat.
And this next one is definitely for Peter.
Batman?
Lee Whannell's Wolfman.
Fuck off.
He calls it straight up pure horror. Lee Whannell did The Brilliant Invisible Man in 2020 and is now doing Wolfman. Whannell said, quote, Upgrade was more of a sci-fi action. I was watching a lot of domestic thrillers when I wrote The Invisible Man. And he means by that like domestic abuse because that's kind of the vibe of that movie. Because I love that genre. And then he says, Wolfman to me, I just want to make something that is straight up pure horror. So that sounds fun. He says, I think of it as a companion piece to the Invisible Man. I didn't want this film to be nostalgic or retro Wolfman in any way. So this is not gonna. This isn't gonna play into like the classic, dumb-looking '50s Wolfman. Talking about uniqueness for the first film, for this film, he said, "quote I was actually writing down in my notepad everything that's been done in werewolf movies previously, and then he said, okay, that's a list of what not to do." So it sounds like he's going to be going a little bit more off the beaten path,
Off the script.
So can't wait.
I'm sick that day.
No, sir.
I gotta wash my hair or something.
Werewolves, not swearwolves, Peter, is what Hayden said there.
Fuck off. Man, there are 2 werewolf movies coming up that I'm not happy about.
Indeed. Is it Wolfman, and what's the other one? We've talked about both now.
I don't remember the other one, but it was like The Purge meets werewolves.
Yeah, that's right.
Like there's like this whole mass
there's like
all right, lock your door every month. These werewolves come out. It's like fuck off. That is my nightmare.
I can't wait. Next up, Frank Darabont is coming out of retirement.
Thank God.
And he talks about why. And we all know the rumors we've been covering for months and months now as he was coming out of retirement to direct some episodes of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That is indeed true now. Yep. He's coming back and he's going to be directing some episodes. But he said in an interview recently, quote, "What really dragged me out of retirement was that my wife and I love this show. Our content now is so filled with horrible people doing horrible things for greedy reasons, but Stranger Things has so much heart. That positivity is something that I really respond to."
So someone in Stranger Things is getting locked up in a prison, and there's going to be an abusive guard, huh?
Or a Mrs. Carmody-like character will show up and imagine he casts her too.
Oh, that actress is amazing.
She is. She really is. But
I do love her.
I do know that it's like I do
hate that.
I do know that like because of the character, it's like biting tinfoil. I feel like you're just going to react a little bit where it's just like, oh, it's her. So yeah, that's awesome.
I get a little werewolfy when I talk about her.
What is it? Expiation? Is that the blood atonement? That kind of stuff. Fun stuff. Next up, we got some good news. Scream 7 is officially coming out in February of 2026. That is February 27th, 2026. So that is a release date for Scream. I wish it was sooner, but make it so, number one.
Let's do it.
Sounds like also some of the stuff that's been coming out that Courtney Cox is not yet signed to this next movie, so I really hope they can get that sorted out. Also, she's also publicly said that she wants Dewey back, which I don't know about that. So
okay,
I just hope they don't get Sydney back and then they have to lose Courtney Cox. Like that would be shitty.
You need Gail and Courtney and Sydney together.
Yeah, I don't know, especially because she kind of held the torch in the last movie. So I just hope they don't like cheap out on Courtney Cox now that they brought Nev back. So
now that they've paid Nev what she deserves.
Yeah, exactly. So that is it for the horror section. Let's move on over to Marvel.
What? No more werewolves?
No.
Thank God.
So the first one here for Marvel, rumor, X-Men 97 has been being pushed back to 2026. Last time we talked about they were going to rewrite everything so they can take the douchebag showrunner from the first season's name off of all of it. Mm-hmm. So it all kind of follows that if that's the case and they have to rewrite everything, there's a good chance that now that would move it back into 2026. Yeah. So makes total sense. Sad to see, but makes sense. So next up, Hugh Jackman talks about wearing the yellow. So he was interviewed recently and he said, quote, "When I got the yellow and blue, I knew immediately it would work. It felt amazing. I felt more grounded, deeper and connected than I ever had in 24 years of playing this character."
Interesting. You played Showman for The Greatest Showman for 24 years?
There's no yellow in that costume. I know. It's red and black. And then he says, quote, "I was astonished at how we never tried it and never looked at it. But when I see it, particularly with the cowl, I feel more than ever before. Hugh Jackman, is lost, gone, and it's just Wolverine." So sounds like it kind of helped him acting-wise to just tap in and be Wolverine 100%. So that's pretty cool. Love seeing that. What is Hayden talking some?
No, just down, Hayden. Calm down.
Down boy.
Down boy.
Next up, we've got a rumor that the Vision TV show, is going to be casting a human Jarvis and Friday.
Is that still happening? Like,
Yeah,
I swear
that's-
I've been hearing about this for 3 years.
No,
like,
that we just got this announced like not that long ago.
I swear we've heard about a Vision TV show since the end of WandaVision.
No, I mean, there's been people who have wondered, like, hey, what's the follow-up for the White Vision? But, like,
Yeah.
no, this is all happened in the last 6 months or less,
Yeah, it's
probably.
just weird
So-
that this character was introduced and then
Yeah, what again? Strikes, and there's been a lot of shenanigans. So, but the rumor is that James Darcy is going to be playing Jarvis, and Carrie Condon is playing Friday. James played Howard's driver in Endgame and sounded very much like Jarvis, if you remember that. And Carrie has voiced Friday in every appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to this point, all in Tony's head. But the rumor is that they are going to be joining Paul Bettany as Vision, as well as we have heard that. Ultron is also returning for Vision.
it was in his helmet, not his head. He's not a crazy person.
He's pretty crazy.
He's not crazy.
Pretty crazy.
I mean, he might be now with his new character, but
Any rich person that dresses up and beats up criminals is pretty crazy.
hey.
Pretty crazy to me.
I think you just described like 9/5 of our government.
And a lot of fucking superheroes. Oliver Queen, Batman, Iron Man, what's his name? Iron Fist. There's a lot of rich.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big trope for a long time. Next up, a rumor that Patrick Stewart and his Professor X is going to be in Secret Wars.
That'd be cool.
After all the fake rumors that Marvel threw out Deadpool and Wolverine, including Patrick Stewart, I don't know how many of these rumors to believe, but it will be fun to track them over the next couple of years.
Yeah, we need a rumor board for Secret Wars. Can we get one of those? Can we do that?
Take down Patrick Stewart.
Get creative bites. Let's see. Secret Wars.
Hayden, time to go beat up the poor Bruce Wayne.
What are we doing? Secret Wars rumors?
Cast rumors. And I will say we've already heard rumors that a lot of what we've seen in Deadpool and Wolverine will all be back. We've also heard that both Spider-Men will be back that were in the third Spider-Man movie. You could add those in there.
Hold on. I'm not that fast at typing. Jesus, Ted.
Come on.
Okay. All Spider-Man.
Yeah, all Spider-Men.
Is it plural then? Spider-Man? All Spider-Man?
All Spider-Mans.
Mans? Wolverine.
Yep. Cabeline.
Deadpool.
Like, just say everything from Deadpool, Wolverine.
We also have the Gambit, Elektra, Blade.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, every one of those. There's also been rumors that the Doctor Strange, so you would include Jim Halpert's Mr. Fantastic.
X-23.
But yeah, let's go.
Jesus Christ.
While Peter's typing, I'm going to move on here because
Please, yes, there's more to cover, and we still have a top 10 to do.
So the next up rumor, Tom Holland Spider-Man is not winding down, apparently. The rumor is that Sony and Marvel have come to an agreement that includes giving Feige complete control of future solo films.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I figured you didn't hear.
No, I did not hear.
So this is a rumor that
Okay.
Tom Holland Spider-Man
Okay.
is not winding down.
Okay.
It's kind of felt like a little bit that he might be wanting to get out of the role or something. But the rumor is that Sony and Marvel have come to an agreement that includes giving Feige complete control over any solo films
Oh, fuck.
in the future. So
Holy shit.
you won't have Sony people fucking shit up. But also, conversely, that Tom Holland Spider-Man would now be allowed to appear in all the shitty Sony stuff. Because apparently that's been contractually negated to keep him out of
Venom,
all their
and
bullshit.
Craven, and
So-
Madam Web, and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
So that kind of makes me think it's legitimate because Sony's gaining as much in their minds as Marvel would be. So that actually sounds like it could be true. The rumor says that he's going to be involved in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Honestly, I've never even considered that he wouldn't be in those films. Like this,
How can he not?
they brought this up, and I'm like, wait. I've never even considered that. But also, the rumor goes one step further to say that he could be going beyond that. And one rumor is that he might be the sage veteran for the Young Avengers.
Wow.
That he would play the Tony Stark Captain America role for the Young Avengers.
Hayden says in the chat, he says I saw Tom Holland sign for 3 more films.
I haven't seen that, but yeah, it definitely does sound like
Interesting.
he's certainly got a lot more on the horizon for sure.
Hayden says Joker 2 is worse than Madam Web. Did you go see Joker 2, Hayden? Let me know.
I'm not sure if he did. Next up, Andrew Garfield's Spidey will return, is a rumor.
We already got that.
This is
That's a check.
This is in two parts. First is the part that's not a rumor, but Andrew was interviewed and was asked about his interest in returning as Spidey, and he said, "quote For sure, I would 100% come back if it was the right thing. If it's additive to the culture, if there's a great concept or something that hasn't been done before that's unique and odd and exciting and you could sink your teeth into." He also said, "I love that character and it brings joy. If part of what I do is bring joy, then I'm joyful in return." So Andrew's a fucking gem, dude. He really is. But the second part, and this is the part that's far more the rumor, there's a rumor out there that he has signed on for 2 more movies, which most likely would be Doomsday and Secret Wars. So
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's pretty fun. Next up, another rumor. The rumor is that Spidey 4's title has been leaked.
Oh.
So the leaker said that to take it with a grain of salt. So even the leaker is saying
Sure.
that, but they're saying that they got something from someone inside of Marvel. But this person also has proven reliable in the past. But he said the title he is hearing is Spider-Man King in Black, which is a comic event in 2020 through 2021 in which Null, the eldritch god of darkness and creator of the symbiote, basically comes to Earth. And it's in the comics it ends up being the Avengers, X-Men, Spider-Man, Venom. Everyone is like, this is like, again, this is like a whole year event in the Marvel comics, so it was huge. Most likely the rumor is though that they're going to bring this down to where it wouldn't include all that, but it would end up being Venom and Spider-Man fighting this symbiote god.
Hayden says, "Dude, Null is brutal."
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
He's one that created the symbiote, and the symbiote's not necessarily a happy
I mean,
thing,
I haven't
so.
seen Venom 3. I haven't even seen Venom 2, but in the trailer for Venom 3, I've seen a lot of it watching football and stuff. There's a line that Venom says, not Tom Hardy, but like the Venom says, that they found me. And it's like asteroids coming into Earth's atmosphere. So I'm wondering if they're kind of already laying the groundwork in Venom 3.
Could be.
That's
Of course,
interesting.
me. I'm a noted anti-fan of Venom. So.
Yeah, you don't like Venom for some reason. I don't understand
I
it.
never have.
I don't get it.
But I mean, still, that sounds really cool. And I mean, I would prefer Spider-Man to be teaming up with a Daredevil or Wolverine or something.
There
but
was the scrapped Spider-Man 4 that they all but confirmed was going to be Spider-Man and Daredevil teaming up to take down Kingpin.
yeah,
And it's like, oh, I have the Yoda.
yeah, pretty much. Next up, moving out of the Marvel realm, RoboCop is coming to Amazon as a series. I mean, not a movie.
Oh, series.
So a RoboCop series. James Wan is producing.
Juan. I like it.
And Peter Ocko is show running. So yeah, I mean,
Trust Peter.
I would say in this day and age with AI and everything else going on, this is probably the perfect time to expand on the RoboCop thing when you've got this like dystopian company that controls law enforcement. It's all private, and they're like a tech company. Like this all just sounds perfect for modern. It is ironic that Amazon is the one behind it.
Yeah,
but But again, we talked about it on our last show. Amazon is not afraid to go a ways.
No.
So a RoboCop.
No, we talked about The Boys and just being like, they're not afraid to cross lines at Amazon.
Yeah, so I can imagine what RoboCop. I don't know how many dicks he's going to shoot off of rapists.
I watched that scene on YouTube a couple months ago.
The scene or the edited one where he shoots like 25 dudes' dicks off?
No, just the scene
where
where he has the woman with like the knife and
Stop, creep.
He shoots through her dress into his dick.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And then Hayden likes spiders but hates Venom. How ironic, Tad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he likes Goliath bird-eating spiders and tarantulas. Typically, those are non-venomous spiders. So.
Yeah, they're fun. They got hair. You could pet them
he's
like
not
dogs.
Over here petting like the funnel web spider, one of the most venomous spiders on the planet. He's not that insane. He is insane, but not that insane.
Next up, moving over into Star Wars realm, the rumor is that Cal Kestis is going to be coming to live action.
Really?
Very interesting. The rumor says he will appear in live action sometime in the future on Disney Plus. So
sweet.
Yeah, I mean that sounds pretty
cool.
cool.
Starkiller.
No, fuck that, dude. That's nonsense. So in the past, Kathleen Kennedy has been asked about Cal, and she said, I've seen a lot of chatter online about that. And then she laughs. She said, it could be really interesting. It's not something that's front and center right at the moment, but what's interesting in this company that we do is that everybody across all these different lines of business, we all talk to one another. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's like there's an element of like the video game people, they're talking to people. So that's pretty cool. I think that'd be kind of interesting to see where he might pop up. Because he's certainly a new Jedi on the board that we didn't know about. But and then we also know a new a new game is coming out, a third game. So we talked about that last episode. And then the last news bit we've got here, there's a new John Williams documentary coming to Disney Plus on November 1st.
No one cares about that. Move on.
I mean,
no, move on. No one
Just
cares.
hook it to my vein.
and also Disney was nice enough to wait till November 1st so that my horror movie marathon can get out of the way before this comes out.
Nice way to come off of 51 horror movies in 31 days.
It's
with
just
a John Williams documentary.
Oh, it's great. I can't wait to watch it. So
What day of the week is November 1st?
it's the end of the week, I think.
It's a Friday, Tad?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, you're going to go get Mongolian barbecue and then come home and watch that documentary?
goddamn right.
You're going to be all nice and full to have a little snacky snack with it, maybe?
Yep, that sounds about right.
Sounds like a
Let
good
me
day, Tad.
Make sure to get the screen prepped properly. All right, so we are over to the main topic now, so I will go ahead and let you take over.
Yeah.
Here.
So Spooky Season sponsored this.
Let's go for it.
Thank you, Mikey. We'll do it. Spooky Season is the sponsor today for our main topic, which is top 10. Tad calls them modern horror films.
Yeah, so we just
The
define
past
that.
24 years.
We define that by this 21st century.
So that's 25 years of movie. No, just kidding. I'm bad at math.
well, I mean, if you counted like
2000 would be year one, so
Yeah.
2024 would be year 25, right? It's weird how that happens.
it is.
But
oh, no,
yeah,
I've
so
gone
20,
cross-eyed.
almost 25 years of movies.
Yeah.
Let's do our top 10.
And
That's
I just want
basically what it
to,
comes
I
down
just
to.
want to say up front, we are in a fucking golden age for
Oh,
horror.
so many good
We
ones.
really are, man. It's and like I said earlier, I'm doing this horror-thon. I've filled almost 50. I've filled 50 movies, and a good chunk of those are modern horror movies. So I will say part of my list will be probably
Mm-hmm.
incomplete, but I'm almost glad for that because I will say, you and then John in the emails bitched about my last topic, and John and he emailed us a list, and he said a lot easier than Tad's top 10 TV episodes with 3 exclamation points. You've given me nothing
Yeah.
but shit. I will say this is harder for me
Yeah,
because I think I ended up coming up
Get
with
ready. In November, you're doing your top 10 movies, bastard.
episodes. I ended up doing like 26, 27, something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, this one I just looked at my collection. I'm like, I'm not even going to look at anything else in my collection. Let me just do my collection, and then I'll see where my number's at. And if it's not too high, I'll then go look at maybe what I don't own yet. When I got done with my list, it was 46 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was like, how the fuck am I going to narrow this down?
I just realized I forgot a movie.
This was like Sophie's choice for me, man. There was some
Yeah.
and because I told you my unofficial rule, I'm not going to ever hold anyone else to it, but I don't want my honorable mentions to be half of my list. So I was basically like, okay, can I get it down to 14, and then from there I'll just figure out which ones are going to be honorable mention. That was fucking hard. So for me, this is harder. All I'm saying is golden age of horror movies for sure. Great stuff. So how do you want to approach this?
I fucked up, Ted.
It always happens.
I forgot one. I literally just looked over your shoulder at your movie collection and saw a movie that had a release this century. And I am mad at myself.
I wonder if it's on my list. I mean, it's a very good chance it was on one of my lists. So
Well, before we start, I just have to ask you: how many honorable mentions did I send you?
you sent me 3.
Okay,
and
I just wanted to make sure because I thought about taking one of them off, and so I just wanted to make sure that I didn't. I did that once before where I swapped something without telling you. So
Okay.
I just wanted to be sure.
Hayden
how
can't
many-
wait for the next sequel. Sophie's next choice.
How many honorable mentions do you have?
I've got 4.
You got 4?
That's my max.
Let's start with your honorable mentions since you got more then.
Okay, and John has none, so I got his list as well.
Okay, cool.
My honorable mentions, and some of these might surprise you, but again, this was very hard.
I got my shame button ready, or my boo button, depending on how I feel about these.
I'm going to save the one that'll upset you the most for the end. Nope
Okay.
is my first one.
'Kay.
That broke my fucking heart, dude. I love that movie so much.
I still have not watched that one.
Saint Maud, another one that hurt me to lose. Loved that movie. Hayden can tell you there's some good foot action in that movie.
Is it a hobbling?
No.
So it's not misery. Okay.
There's a shoe that might have some nails in it.
Ooh, going Home Alone. There's a Hayden reaction for you.
Except that she does it to herself.
Why?
It's like what was the Da Vinci Code? The dude that like whipped himself. Flagellation, is it?
I wanted to say that, but that sounds wrong. Like
It does.
dirty.
Yeah.
Hayden, you're smart. Is that
But
what it's? Or
She
wife?
puts, she,
My wife.
She puts that shoe on, then she like walks, and you can hear like squishy. Like,
Oh,
it's so good, dude. It's so good.
damn.
And then actually these last two might get you a little bit.
Okay.
These hurt to pull off. This is difficult. My next honorable mention, A Quiet Place.
Ooh, I get it. It's yeah.
Yeah. And then this one you're gonna be mad at. And I had this set before your list because when I saw your list, I'm like, oh god.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I do.
What is it?
The Conjuring.
No.
Oh.
It.
Oh, thank God.
It.
Dude, I thought you were putting Conjuring at honorable mention. I was gonna fucking punch you, dude.
You got mad at me if last episode the last list that wasn't last episode for an honorable mention. You
Yeah,
got
there
pretty
was
mad.
one that you were wrong. You were wrong.
So
I don't usually say that. Flagellation is right. Okay, good. Thank
So
you.
yeah, It 2017.
Okay.
Again, that hurt me. Even getting down to the 14, because that's why I was like, ultimately, I'm like, okay, I got to get this list of 40 something down to like
Yeah.
14, because then I can. Then from there, it's a matter of Sophie's choice of like, okay, which of these four are not making
Yeah.
my list, dude. And dude, I can't tell you how many times I was like moving titles up and down, and I was like, God, dude,
I will say I
physically hurt me almost.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm taking a new approach to my top 10s.
Okay.
I am not allowing myself to rearrange it more than once.
Oh, really?
I did it last night. So my wife, my daughter, and I went out and we did a fall drive to go see the leaves changing and everything like that. We stopped for dinner and I'm like, oh shit, I got to get to add my list. I had my shotgun list. I had my top 10, top 13 because I have 3 honorable mentions, which are 28 Days Later, Paranormal Activity, and Midsummer are my 3 honorable mentions.
Okay.
And I quickly set my list, and the buzzer went off that our food was ready. And so I went and got our food. We went and ate and everything like that. And then it's one of those places that has ice cream, so we ordered our ice cream as we were leaving to get out of it. It was Friday night. It's hella busy. And I went back, and before I sent it to you, I went back and I looked at my list, and I went, dude, I fucking nailed it. I'm not overthinking it ever again.
And
so I think that's where I'm going to go from now on.
for me, it depends on the list. Most of them, I yippee-ki-yay it, and I just like get it set.
It is.
It is a struggle sometimes to get it there, but once I get it, I'm like, that's it. I'm not going to, because again, it's like you could, whatever. But this one, dude, this one hurt me.
Yep.
This one, I'm just such a horror fan. This one hurt me. So I respect what you do because I generally do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll just get it and go, okay, am I good? And then like I almost hit enter to get out of like the thing, and I'm like, I'm done. And I will like go and put it into the slideshow and stuff because it's like now it's fucking there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. Now it doesn't mean it doesn't still like gnaw at me a little bit. And I want to like change it, but I
Tad tweaks a little bit.
But this one I allowed myself to like because it was just this was
Yeah.
maybe the hardest list I've ever done in the history of the
Yeah.
show. So
So yeah, let's just go back and forth.
okay, so we're starting at number 10.
Let's start with your number 10.
all right. First, I'll do John's.
Oh yeah,
So John has Silent Hill at his
That's a
number
good
10.
movie.
That was
I actually
good.
just showed a scene of that to my wife because Pyramid Head
Yeah.
is a killer in Dead by Daylight,
Mm.
and so she's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, if you saw his one kill in Silent Hill, you would understand who Pyramid Head is.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I went
indeed.
and showed her that scene, and she's like, holy shit, we should show Hayden.
Hayden
Oh, Hayden
knew.
knows it. I was wondering if Hayden knew it.
I don't know if you're saying ew because of Pyramid Head or because you said Dead by Daylights.
There's a lot of
it's-
ews there for
Yeah,
Hayden.
there's
that could be.
plenty of opportunities. Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out, we ended up splitting our list.
Okay.
5 match, 5 do not.
Oh, I always thought you would wait till the end to tell me. to
No,
show
just
me
because
that.
I want to. I those are like the symmetrical, not symmetrical because it is symmetrical this time. But that's sometimes I like to just set the stage a little
Sure.
bit of like, okay, how much do we have matching? So
The
let's-
stripping. It's like a full body degloving.
indeed.
All right, so you're number 10.
Oh yeah, I've got to do this on the other screen.
Right.
So make sure that's right, and it is. Go like that. It is actually going to reveal one of yours. This is one of ours that match, and it
Okay.
is Saw.
Saw. Oh,
Which is
so
your
my
number 4. Some of ours are radically different.
Uh-huh.
hilariously well, we'll get to it later, but yeah, so Saw, this movie is just incredible, and I do think this is always one of my biggest examples of don't judge a movie by its terrible sequels. And that's not to say all the Saw movies are terrible, but I just feel like the first Saw movie is kind of like Rambo. It's just a genius fucking movie, like First Blood, not Rambo. First Blood, that was what it was called. Later got retitled Rambo, but like it's just a genius fucking movie that the sequels kind of redefined. And this first movie is just a genius, fucking tight, well done movie. It's low budget. You got some great actors. It's got a great fucking setup, story, premise, and it's not this over the top gore. There's a couple gore scenes, but it's not. Everyone thinks like Saw. They think, oh my god, the most grotesque shit I've ever seen.
Watch the first Saw. You don't see a lot of the gore.
Exactly, because
a lot of it happens off screen.
But the sequels make everyone think that like it's always this, and it always is a bummer to me because Saw is just such a genius fucking movie, dude. It really is. Like if there was like, it would be between First Blood and Saw if I were given the choice of just wiping away every sequel of a given property.
Yeah,
it would be up to those two, and I'd probably pick Saw because I think that I'm a horror fan, so I love Saw, and I just think it's a genius. And if it stood on its own as its own thing, dude, oh my god, like I think we would appreciate it a lot more than we do as a society. But
honestly, that's why it's my number 4, is because I recognize its greatness and everything. I recognized it back then. This movie came out when we were seniors in high school.
Yeah,
or
2004.
Or the October, I think it's the October after we graduated, because it came out close to Halloween, I think.
I know it was 2004. But
so we graduated in June. If it comes out in October, it's we're
later.
We're just a few months after graduating, and I remember going and seeing it with you, and I just remember being blown away by the twist and everything in it, and the story is so amazing that there's like this mystery wrapped up inside of the horror,
and it's almost like a crime movie too,
wrapped up into a detective story. Is what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like Seven-ish almost, but. Yeah.
My wife says Saw is one of the few horror movies I watched before I met Peter and actually liked.
Yeah.
So
plus iconography, you've got the doll on the little tricycle, you've got the pig head thing, and then you've got him himself. Like so
Jigsaw himself.
It's very unique because usually you have like one iconic thing, like it's
Michael,
it's Freddy,
Jason,
Chucky, whatever it is. But it's like this one's one where it's like, oh god, like there's there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff for sure. So
and it's like you said, it's a well done movie and everything. So that's and is this is one of the first movies from James Wan, isn't it?
I know it's early in his career.
It's early in his career,
I think
but
this
it kind of sets the tone.
This is probably what put him on the map for the majority of the people. Because later he'd go on to like Dead Silence and a lot of other really badass horror movies, Conjuring stuff. But I think Saw is really what probably was what really threw him on the map.
That's why I got to put it up high, is that I got to recognize that at the time it came out, we had a resurgence for horror in the late 90s due to Scream.
Yeah.
But we did not have a resurgence for smart horror.
Yeah.
It was still Scream, and I love Scream. Don't get me wrong.
Scream's very smart,
love
but
Scream.
It's meta, so the humor makes you almost feel it's dumber than it is.
It makes you think that it is because it is the meta, but then you're also looking at, you got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake around here. You got
03, yep.
You got White Noise. You got stuff like that that's around then. Not a lot of like smart horror like that horror kind of thing. And so this is the one that made my list that when I looked at it, I went, yeah, this belongs high.
Yeah, and I respect it, and I will say on my side, every one of these are fucking... I mean, like I said, I had a list of almost 40-something. I think it was 46 is what my total number was. So this is narrowed down from that. Like every one of these movies is high. Like I want to make that clear that like a 10 for me, like you're talking 10 for... that's... I don't know. Just to say that, because there is some disparity on our lists.
Sure.
So
let's just go down your list and have you go first. That way it's easier for you just to remember which slide to do. So number 9 for you.
No.
My number 10.
Yeah, no, we can go. Yeah.
I forgot that my number 10 hadn't been revealed yet. I feel like we already talked about it because it was one of your honorable mentions, and it's A Quiet Place.
All right. Yep.
Which probably would be higher on my list if I had seen it in theaters, because the way you describe it, how silent the theater was and everything, I kind of regret missing it in theaters.
Yeah.
It's up there in my top 3 regrets. Quiet Place and Guardians of the Galaxy are first ones that come to mind, but terrifying premise. just the world gets overrun by aliens that hunt us.
Yeah.
And you can't make a goddamn noise.
Do you ever just think about like random things that I just sneeze? Oh, that would kill me in that universe. Like,
There's a Instagram person who did a spell of movies. It's like if Quiet Place took place in the 90s and one of the people gets killed because they close their phone,
oh yeah,
like a razor, like they close their phone and it clicks.
The sidekick.
Yeah, you flip the sidekick open and it's like, nope, that's what does it. The other one's wearing like a windbreaker suit.
Dude,
Swish,
serious.
swish,
I think
swish.
about. I mean, this movie was absolutely genius.
Yeah.
Neither of the sequels have lived up to the original. They're both good, but they're not as good. But this original, like, it's just it's lived in my head rent free a little bit because it's just like how much of your life is there's just noises, like sneeze. There's like involuntary things like. Yeah, you do.
Also, can you imagine me not talking? Like, I'm dead day one, right?
I really appreciated the third movie though, but I will say they changed something a little bit about the aliens, and I think kind of nerfed them, and it would cause it to be a thing we could solve easily, in my opinion.
Oh, really? I haven't seen I haven't even seen the second one yet.
Oh, really?
still.
Okay, that's got
So-
what's his name from Oppenheimer in it.
Oppenheimer?
Yeah, the Cillian Murphy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in
Oh,
it,
cool.
and it's the family from the first movie. Otherwise, so. But yeah, no, it's a good one, and this one hurt me to pull off because you mentioned like my experience in theaters, like that, and like that's really the thing that helped me like separate it, move it down to my honorable mentions because I was like, yes, there was that experience, but the movie itself, let me compare it to some of these others, and that's where it kind of fell into my honorable mentions. But it's still a wonderful movie for sure.
No, yeah,
So,
for sure.
all right, you got anything
No,
more?
that's about it. So let's go to your number 9.
All right, my number 9 is Talk to Me. This
Oh,
is
a newer one.
newer one. There's a couple newer ones on here. This movie, dude, Hayden can speak to it as well. This movie, when it came out, was just like I went in with lower expectations. Like, I don't go into a lot of horror movies with the highest expectations, like unless it's like a filmmaker or a property that I think whatever. This is just one that was just kind of whatever. It had a little bit of hype, but I was like, all right, whatever, we'll go see it. But dude, this movie was incredible. You've seen the trailers. I know you haven't seen this movie yet, but it's like you touch the hand and it kind of almost plays like drugs. Like they get addicted to it. It shows them things, and it's very gets kind of demonic. And I think Hayden and I went and saw it together. So. Yeah, it was good stuff. Really enjoyed it. Really well executed. I'm really hoping they can do some sequels and not ruin it.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting slides ready while I'm talking as
sure.
well. But yeah, what's Hayden saying? Dude, that movie not kind of demonic, super duper. Yeah, and it's just it also it does a really good job. The thing I really was startled by, and we talked about it in our last podcast a few hours ago, was true good horror, and it's what Stephen King does well. It makes you care about the characters.
Yes.
And this did a great job of there's a couple characters in this that you really fucking cared for. So when they were in danger, you cared. Like the worst
You're
thing.
like, no, not them.
Yeah, the worst thing a shitty horror movie does is it's a bunch of two-dimensional characters you don't fucking care about.
Yeah.
So when they're in danger, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, you might,
she got her head ripped off.
or even
No, okay.
later slashers, like you end up cheering for the killers because it's like, cool, these are all two-dimensional fucking stereotypes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if Chucky
Kill the bimbo.
Yeah, kill him. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like, and do it creatively.
Please.
So, yeah. So this did a really good job of actually making you care for the characters.
Yeah.
So good stuff. Let me
Absolutely.
turn my picture off, and then we'll get ready for your number 9.
Babadook. I've seen this movie one time, and it still lives rent-free in my head.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it. I was
It's one
thinking,
that I have not gone back and watched. Hayden says, ha ha ha, quote of the month, Peter, kill the bimbo.
burner.
Dude, yeah, Babadook messed up my wife. Especially since I taught my daughter at the time to say Babadook. She was not very happy with me teaching my child that.
Probably because she was younger, and as we talked about at
She
work
was.
the other day,
There's an
Yep.
age where they get past that and they're not scary anymore.
Yeah, kids aren't. Once they become preteens and teens,
Yeah.
they're not scary anymore.
And
When-
she'll be 12 this month, so it's like, no, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I taught my daughter to say Babadook. I also taught her with another horror film on this list to do something, and we'll talk about
do
that
they
later.
sell a pop-up book for Babadook? That'd be a good one.
I wonder if they do.
You should
Movie is great, especially for
Hayden, Babadook is horrifying. I feel like Hayden's just gonna go through like post traumatic stress through these entire lists.
The Babadook pop-up book.
Wait, what did I? Oh, stop it about the pop-up book. Okay, your wife said no with an exclamation point. So,
They do sell one.
interesting. It is becoming. It is getting close to holiday season as well. So, good stocking stuffer, I think.
Interesting.
Hayden, 1,000% PTSD.
Oh, my wife said, Peter, no. I like this movie a lot. It's one of those ones that I threw on randomly for me and my wife, and both of us were like, by the end of it.
It's pretty good.
It's unsettling. It's one of those ones that there's not a lot of gore. I don't think there's any gore, actually, now that I think about it. I don't think there's any blood.
No, that's pretty common with possession movies.
Yeah.
Though a lot of possession movies get away from gore. It's more about spookiness.
Unsettling, which is why it's on here. You'll see a theme with a lot of mine that
this guy.
Yeah, a lot of unsettling movies is what gets to me, not the necessarily like the the jump scares. So
yeah. Also, John's number 9 is Midsummer.
oh, that's a good one.
That is
my
a really good
honorable
one.
mention. Yeah.
All
right, so you're number 8 now.
Good old jumping off that rock and
splat.
Yeah, that was real fun. As well as the drink that got soiled.
Oh yeah.
Period blood in the.
You didn't have to say it, Tad.
For Hayden's sake, I did. So.
I think all of us agree with Hayden right now that
Disgusting.
I didn't make the movie, so.
Yeah, but you don't have to bring up the details, Tad. You can just say the movie.
Sure, I do. Just like earlier, we were talking about Haunting a Hill House, and he gets that fan, hits his hand, and it's got that giant gashing cut on it. It's glorious.
I try, folks. I really do.
It's glorious.
But there's no reining in this demon.
Number 8. I'll start with John's because I did miss him on 9.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't forget him too long. I get so caught up in these slides and stuff.
Yeah.
So my his number 8 is The Witch.
Okay.
Which is a fun one.
You're making Hayden turn off the internet. Not just the show, the internet.
Oh man. Yeah, it's good stuff. So my number 8, is that where we're at here?
Yes.
Number 8. My number 8 is Scream 4.
Okay.
So not a lot of sequels on mine, but Scream 4. I never expected this movie to happen. The first 3 movies happened in a very short burst, 96, 97, 2000. And then that was it until 2014. So it's like, I just felt like Scream was a closed book
trilogy,
and it was done. But then they come back, they get the original cast, they get Wes Craven. It was Wes Craven's final, I don't know, final horror. First, certainly his last Scream movie, because he would then pass away. And it's a marvel of a movie. And also it's so like ahead of its time, because really when you go back and watch that now, it's about influencers and internet, like popular, like shit that in 2014 wasn't that big of a thing. Not like it is now. Like it's like the screenwriter for that just saw the future and was just like, this is what's going to happen. And like, like that ends up being the motive for the killers, is they want to make themselves famous and they want to like top the original killers. And like, it's just absolutely ahead of its time, but it's just so well done because it kind of plays into the realm of like, I don't even remember because they didn't start talking about like legacy sequels yet, but kind of the idea of, I think reboot is kind of what they played with it, where it's like, they're like, well, never fuck with the original, and like, like Sydney says that, like there's a lot of cool lines, and it's got all the brilliant meta stuff throughout the Scream series.
Yes.
But the meta stuff about like reboots, which would have been massive in 2014. I mean, this whole century has been speckled with reboots and remakes.
Right around that time, wasn't that the Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th reboots was right around that time?
I mean, Halloween.
2010. No, 2010, 2011. Oh, yeah, even then
Halloween.
Would have had Rob Zombie's reboots.
You had you also had Texas Chainsaw Massacre has been rebooted like 3 times this decade or this century. So there's a lot. So it was really playing at a lot of that, and it just did a wonderful job. And of course Neve Campbell is a goddess.
Yeah, 2009 for the Friday the 13th reboot. So
yeah. And then Hayden says cool commentary on vanity behind motivation for why people do things online. Texas Chainsaw, nope. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
2009 for Friday the 13th, 2010 for A Nightmare on Elm Street reboot.
And Halloween 2 was 09.
And then Halloween 2,
Rob
Rob
Zombies,
Zombies was
yeah.
right around there. So a lot of people were looking at Rob Zombies, which at the time was very well received. So everyone's like, "Oh, let's just to go take originals and reboot them." So
yeah. I mean,
to
The
see
Thing was
Scream-
2011.
Yeah, to see
so-
Scream 4 come out and not be a reboot was
Well, it kind of was.
Kinda was,
That's
but-
what they played at. Is the whole idea is you got this whole
Yeah.
young cast, and in the movie they're talking about, well, this is the reboot, and like, I don't. So it was very tongue in cheek, like
Yeah.
Scream always is.
but
so.
that's Scream for you.
yeah, exactly.
So,
So, indeed. So next up, we got your number 8.
yep, my number 8, which is The Ring,
7 days.
which this movie changed horror for me.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, my daughter asked to watch it the other day.
Ooh.
And
Is that happening?
It might be on the docket for next weekend. Because that fits the bill for horror without sex.
Excellent.
So, if we're going to start somewhere, why not? Dude, do you remember the story of The Ring?
Yeah.
With me
Oh,
and
yeah.
you?
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, no, I just remember the movie.
Do you
It's-
remember?
I
do you
haven't
remember
seen
what-
it in 15 years.
Do you remember what happened with us with this movie? Do you not?
No, I remember White Noise.
And White Noise was one that we had a definite story about, but The Ring did. We did something original, not original, but we found something out about the DVD.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where if you push up on the menu or left or
There was
right,
there was like
there's
a cheat
odd
code.
direction
Yeah.
where it would play the movie,
The full
thing, and everything.
My favorite part's when the thumb pushes down on the nail.
The nail and the
it
thumbnail
pops
gets
the
pushed
thumbnail.
off. Yeah. That one always. I'm not kidding, Hayden. I can vouch for this. He has said that for over 25 years, like however long since 2002. So 22 years. He has said that since we saw this movie.
Fingernail trauma.
Fingernail
man.
trauma. He loves it.
It's because
So-
it gets to me. That and eyeball.
Yeah.
Those are just the things that get you.
No, so it was me, you, and my high school girlfriend at the time watched the movie, and then we watched the in-movie, you know, like the what you watch, and then you get the phone call, right? And my phone rang when we finished watching it. Do you not remember that?
No.
Yeah, my phone fucking rang, dude. Scared the shit out of me. And I just looked at the phone, and your Tad's like, you better answer it.
I mean, it's what you do, right?
Yeah.
Also, about your daughter watching it.
Do it.
That's what Palpatine.
We will be discussing that in the next few days.
And
so.
Palpatine knows best.
Oh yeah, sure he
That's
does.
the name of the show, right?
But yeah, so I mean, just basically to come back to the movie, it's such an original premise. I don't think that it's an American story. I think it is based off of something from Japan.
Yeah, it was
We
a
had
Japanese
whole-
movie.
We had a whole spree there. We had The Grudge. We had this one.
Yeah.
There was another one with.
There's a lot. That in that early 2000s, there was
Yeah.
a lot of Japanese imports.
Yeah,
horror wise.
And I will say, I love this one. I love the premise of it. I love the idea that, oh, there's this poor victim and psych.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
It's such a great thing to have something other than a great big beefy guy killing people.
Yeah. I will say that
So-
this just doesn't exist in our modern world.
No,
VHS type. People don't have DVD players anymore, for
No.
God's sake. So
it would be if you click the link after you watch it. If you click the link, then in 7 days you'll die.
yeah, something. I don't know.
That's what you would do.
Yeah.
So
Could be.
yeah, I like this movie a lot.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And
for
I'm really
sure.
excited.
Classic.
It's really funny. I sent my list to you, and then later my wife said that my daughter was asking about it, and I'm like, that's my number 8.
Do it. That's awesome. All right, moving over to number 7.
John's number 7
John's
first.
number 7 is Orphan. I believe that's.
I have not seen that.
I haven't seen that one either. I don't know if that's on my list or not. Because I don't know if I own that one. I do know it's one that I want to see for sure. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So
Okay.
real creepy, from what I understand. Should be fun. So
Hopefully some fingernails get ripped off.
oh, indeed. So next up for me, and it actually matches John's number 8. It is The Witch.
Oh, okay.
So me and Hayden went to Sundance and saw this one.
Yeah.
At Sundance, which is pretty fun. And yeah, it's an incredible story. Like it's just, I mean, Eggers, we talked about earlier. I just watched The Lighthouse. there's just something about this dude and the shit that he does movie wise, and this movie was just incredible. I do recommend subtitles.
The old English.
It's in old English and like legit old English. It's kind of hard to follow at times. I was telling someone at work, I think like when I saw it in theaters, I think I probably caught 6 out of 10 words. Because it's so whatever. But this movie has just got the vibe, the creepiness. It's set in like you just watched 1883 in the last year or so. It's kind of in that era of like the New World. Like it was dangerous to live on this continent at all, let alone people that traveled. And like the basic premise of this is this family is basically left in like a prideful way because there was some beef with the town, so they moved out into like the wilderness away from the town on their own in the middle of this 16th 17th century America. Like
even earlier than like the 1800s, where there's the telegram, the train.
You don't have any of that.
The steam locomotives and everything like that. You don't even have that. It's like, okay, the nearest neighbor is a 2-day ride away.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're talking about, like the brink of civilization.
Yes.
Also, like the indigenous people were not exactly friendly 100% of the time.
No, nor the witches.
Yeah. Are they ever?
I mean, I don't know. Witches can be friendly, right?
This is right before the Salem witch trials then.
Kind of in that era, yeah.
A little bit before that, because that was in the 1670s, I think is what it is.
Something, yeah. But yeah, Black Phillip is awesome. I read a behind-the-scenes thing recently where the real goat on the set was a pain in the ass and would just ram people and hurt the main actor a few times. And I'm like, well, it's playing a possessed goat. Maybe it's just a method actor.
1692 to 1693 for the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, it's kind of in that general area from my memory, but it's just a wonderful movie. Great stuff. Hayden, Salem Witch Trial was a free 30 days and $14.99 a month after that.
The Witch is set in 1630s, so about 60 years before.
Yeah. Good stuff though. Wonderful movie. It just has all the mood and tone that you would expect from a great horror movie.
It is still on my list. I am definitely going to be checking this one out.
All right, I'm going to get your slide ready.
So, just let me know when you want me to reveal my number 7.
All right, pull my picture down so I can edit it, and then good to go. Number 7.
The Strangers, which is on your list.
It is on my list.
You're going to watch it.
I am, because I've missed that one too somehow over the years. The 9th.
Yeah.
So that one's coming up. What is that? Wednesday? Can't wait for that. I just watched The Purge.
Yeah.
It's another kind of being ransacked type thing.
Lawless kind of thing. Hayden says horrifying in all capital letters.
I know the line, right? Because I've used it as an example over the years. Because like I argue with Halloween people, where it's like where Halloween always gets off the rails when you start to explain things. I don't want to know that he's Laurie's brother. I don't want to know about the curse of the thorn. Like just leave it mysterious. And I always point to The Strangers. It's scary because why are you doing this? Because you were home. Like that is the most genius fucking thing. Because it is just random. Like that's what Charles Manson was scary. Because it was fucking random.
That's what it was. Is that a lot of people didn't realize like why with the Manson family. And my wife just watched it last week. So freaky. It's her second time watching it.
Yeah.
That is what was scary about the Manson family murders. Is that not only was it rich and famous people who got murdered, like we're talking about Jay Sebring and Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
Jay Sebring's one of the stylists, if not the stylist for men's hair in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And then Sharon Tate is the wife of Roman Polanski, who's a very famous director. It's basically like if someone murdered Spielberg's wife.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Also, she's a former like actress. Some people think that she was borderline a star and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so
8 months pregnant.
And 8 months pregnant. On top of that, to have that happen and then to not know why, it took a long time to figure out who.
Yeah.
And then when we get to trial, we just find out, wait, this happened just 'cause?
Yeah.
Just
and
randomly?
the other murder was not even famous people. Was it the LeBlanc?
Yeah, LeBlancs.
You know, that was just a random fucking family.
Yeah,
you know?
pick a house. And so it just kind of showed, like, not only can
was the heapy creepy? What was
the
where they'd break in and
creepy crawlies
and just like
they would go into a house,
lurk through a house,
would take things or move things
around
just 'cause.
And they're people that end up murdering people and they're creeping around people's houses. This feels very Manson-y.
It's very much in those vibes, which is why the reason why this makes my list is because this is one of those horror movies. This could happen to us.
Yeah. This isn't out of
This
the
can
realm.
happen to anyone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There are freaks out there who just decide, you know what? Let's murder someone.
Yeah.
Let's do it. There's
Yeah.
thrill killers. There's all these different things that I've seen over the years in my fascination with true crime
Yeah.
and everything. And that's why this one makes my list, is because it's just so eerie that to think like anyone who watches The Strangers and goes, wow, that's crazy. That would never happen in real life. Yeah, go look up the Manson family.
Yeah. Well, that's why Halloween was so effective in 78, because people walked out going, that could happen.
Yeah.
There's nothing supernatural about
Yeah.
Michael in that first movie. So it's like,
Yeah.
that's just an escaped mental patient that just happened to
Yeah.
she happened to be dropping off a key at that house that he was in. And
And you just had Bundy in the news.
yeah.
Like, the guy next door, like, oh my God. Like, if he
Yeah.
can do it.
Also, that mask is great too.
Oh,
I got
which one?
I got to give some the main mask, the main dude.
The dude?
That's my favorite of the masks. I mean, they're all creepy in their own way,
Yeah.
but I love simplicity. I'm a Michael Myers guy.
Just
so,
a bag over his head with eyes cut out and a mouth drawn on it.
Yeah,
Hayden says it's truly psychotic.
yeah, good fun.
All right, so let's go to John's number 6.
John's number 6 is was on your honorable mentions. 28 Days Later.
It's good.
That's a good one. I still
it's a
haven't seen
good
the
Rage
second one,
Virus
though.
movie.
I still haven't seen the
28
second
weeks
one.
later.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're coming out with a 28 years later too.
Yeah, I actually didn't cover it in the news, but I actually just found it after I got my new stuff settled. They just announced that the third one, 28 years later, was entirely shot on iPhones.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, that's cool.
Sometimes I wonder if they're being paid by Apple to say that, though.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's not true, but it's like,
I did see a joke picture, a meme where it's like, yeah, shot on an iPhone, and then it shows the iPhone, and it looks like an actual industry camera
Oh, so-
with like a bunch of add-ons for it.
oh yeah, no, I mean that's probably not far from the truth.
Yeah,
but
it's not them, picking up a phone and
yeah,
recording. a
unless
movie.
they're like an indie film. Like indie
Yeah.
films do that, but like, I doubt this one's that way.
Yeah.
All right, so next up is my number
six.
which
Six.
that is a fun number. Number 6.
Hayden's favorite number 666.
My number 6 is It Follows.
Ah, yes.
This one, dude, and this is one and this is kind of a slight inspiration for why I want to do this this October with what I'm doing, because this is one that I had on my shelf pretty much since it came out. It came out in theaters, I missed it. I bought it immediately on Blu-ray, sat on my shelf,
Yep.
and then it was like a year or two later.
Happens with a lot of movies from Tad, by the
Year
way.
or two ago, I decided to pick it up, throw it on, and dude, it just fucking blew my mind. And within a few weeks, I went over to Hayden's and brought it, and we watched it, and it was glorious.
I love the idea of
Hayden's-
Tad just showing up to Hayden's house with a horror movie, being like, "Hey, we got to watch
We're
this."
watching this.
Yeah.
Hayden says I hate that number as well.
Oh, this is on my wife's list to watch.
Yeah,
so
and you need to watch it with her if you can. Like, if I
I have it
just-
circled.
this
as a
movie
potential,
is
yeah.
incredible. It's just one thing I would say, and it goes around online, is there's that whole thing about the snail.
Yeah, if you get $1 million every year, but there's a snail put somewhere on the planet Earth that can't be killed, can't be stopped, it can go through walls and everything like that, but if the snail touches you, you die.
Yeah, like it's kind of that vibe, because like this thing changes forms and stuff, but it's coming after them to kill them. And the whole premise, it's not even a spoiler to say, but the premise is that if you have sex with someone, it then follows them and not you. So like,
Yeah.
that's kind of the start of the movie, and it was in the trailers and stuff, so it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah.
So like the director has said up and down, like, I did not write this, or the writer, I think it's a writer or director, but he said I didn't write with like an STD as like the thought, but that's what everyone's associated, where it's like an STD. Not that you get rid of an STD by giving it to someone else, but it's like
Right.
it's sexually transmitted. The thing follows you, and then I think if it kills the person it's following, it then goes back to the person that it gave it to that person, so it'll like then backtrack. So it's like
flows
so it
backwards.
behooves you to like give it to someone and then hope that they keep giving it, so it moves you down the line. So,
Yeah.
but it's just the tone and creepiness of this movie. It's like The Witch, where it's like there's just times where you're like in a crowd with
It
a
is.
character, and suddenly you see someone behind that's moving in a way that it's just like, oh my god. And it's kind of that
Yeah.
thing where you're like, turn around, god damn it, it's right
Yeah.
behind you.
My wife says that it is actually an STD. It's sexually transmitted demon.
Yeah, indeed. I honestly just don't know if I believe him that STDs weren't in his head when he wrote it.
It's gotta be,
It
right?
seems so like you've got to be
Little
so
on the nose?
You got to be so up in the clouds that like that's almost like an early Peter naive in our
Naive.
friendship. Like that you're
What's an STD?
yeah, that you're so naive that you don't like you come up with this idea and don't realize like, dude, you just basically just made like a killing STD. Like, good stuff. Though.
Very Ted Lasso creating total football. Like, never heard of it. Hayden says it's a super goon.
I did find one where the thing following is a very large human being.
Yeah.
So let me go and get your stuff set up here. And it is number
6.
6.
Number 6.
All right.
666, Hayden.
All right. So your number 6 is
Halloween.
all right, and that is actually pulled up on my list. That is my number 3.
Which it's not confusing at all that we have 2 movies in a row called Halloween. So we have Halloween 1978.
Halloween 2007, and Halloween 2018.
Well, no, I mean in the story order for here. So it's Halloween, and it kills, Halloween ends.
Oh yeah, so Halloween ends, Halloween kills, Halloween ends. Yeah,
It's Halloween.
no, it's just
Yeah.
Halloween 2018, then Halloween kills, and Halloween ends.
And Halloween 1978.
Oh, I mean the
So
original. Yeah.
Halloween kills, Halloween ends is how this 4 movies goes.
Yeah.
It's not confusing at all. It just confused us.
Good stuff.
I loved this soft reboot, remake, whatever the hell it's called now, legacy sequel. I don't know what the fuck the term is.
The new Scream, I think they said like requel, like reboot sequel.
Reboot sequel. I loved it. I loved seeing Laurie have a daughter.
Yeah.
And everything. I mean, we saw that before with 4 and 5 that she had a daughter that she basically abandoned.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get Jamie Lee Curtis to come back to the franchise.
Yeah.
But in this one, we see her, we see Michael, and the action in this, the story, the whole like doomsday prepper that Laurie is and everything
dude.
is so fucking good.
She's a queen.
Oh, I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
She is a queen.
I love the freaking meme of her where it's supposed to be, it's like from the marketing, like Michael's peeking out behind the tree, but they photoshopped it to be Mariah Carey. And it's
Yeah.
like Halloween people like, huh?
Yeah. Jamie Lee's a queen.
Yeah.
And she's just the best. But this movie is truly the best sequel in my opinion. And I love all the Halloweens except for one. But this one is the first one where I was just like, dude, this is like, I mean, nothing ever compares to the original, but this one is the first one where it's like, this fucking rules.
It got it right.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Michael Myers kills is this one where he fucking cuts the dude's head off, jack-o'-lanterns it out, puts a fucking candle in it, and puts it in his lap. So when the person goes to the car, they have a fucking jack-o'-lantern head in the dude's lap. Dude, do you know how much work? I mean, just think about the behind the scenes of what Michael would be doing to pull that off. Like, it's glorious.
I just imagine he just reached in and just out like Predator, you know?
See him getting like the egg or the whipper, and like they tell you to do with your pumpkins to get the guts out, and he's doing that to the head. He's doing that to the head to make sure it's all clean in there.
Yeah, it's all nice and smooth. The Predator probably came down and let him borrow some of his tools.
Some of the polishers.
Yeah.
There's incredible kills. One of my favorite moments from this is the fucking goon nerd that wants to like fucking like the girl, just friend zone fucker. When he's at that house with the light coming on and off.
Oh, it's so good.
Just fucking masterful.
Oh,
dude.
absolutely, so good.
Fucking good.
Hayden says you guys are done.
But this whole movie was incredible. I loved the other two as well that follow it.
Yeah.
The Halloween fandom's pretty split, but I've loved all three of these. But this one is certainly far and away the standout, and I do think it's probably my favorite, because it's interesting because one of my favorite sequels previously was H2O, and I feel like this took some elements of H2O and reused them, including a bathroom scene.
Yep.
Because there's the bathroom scene in H2O. This one did it way more brutal. The Laurie kind of having like trauma, and this one went different. Rather than her being like the functioning alcoholic that kind of has some PTSD, this one she's like kind of threw her life away to be like a fucking crazy prepper. Like she's gonna be ready. Like Michael's never gonna get the better of her again. So there are different takes on it, but it's like there's like echoes from H2O to this one, and I just think this one was executed brilliantly. Plus the mask. I mean, I always judge them on masks. It's outside of the original, it's probably one of the best masks. So good stuff. That's it's my number 3. So
my number 6.
Here's where we're going to start getting some
I was gonna say, you said we had 5 and we've only had 2, like
Yeah.
1 before this one. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
We're not only in sync, but we're also in sync, kind of close in numbers too.
So next up, we're going to
John's first. John's
for
number 5.
for number 6 or 5.
John's number 5.
Okay, let me get mine prepped real quick.
Want me just to read John's number 5? I got it right here. John's number 5 is the Babadook, which I already had, and we already talked about. Babadook. All
right.
Dook.
So this one is number 5. So this is an interesting one because
Okay.
our 5s
No.
are our number 1s.
No, my 5 is your 1. Your 1 is my 5?
Indeed.
That's
So-
insane.
No, the number magic on this stuff is just nuts. So my number, so you did Babadook for John.
Yep.
My number 5 is The Conjuring, which is your number 1.
That's insane.
I know it's like, I mean, I know the odds aren't that high because we're only talking about 10 here.
Yeah, but we're talking
still,
about how many different movies, though.
I know. That one, they ended up both on both of our lists, but then
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. It's like the number 23 shit. Like
Yep.
start to get like the board behind
Yeah.
us and like, but yeah. So
Where's my red yarn?
so yeah, I was struggling about what picture to find for this, but Bathsheba is what I ended up going
Of
with.
course.
So
That's what you should go with. I thought maybe the hands coming out of the.
I thought about
Dark.
that one. The one I wanted to try to get Ed and Lorraine, but some of the scare pictures I thought of, they're not on screen together. They're like facing each other, and like
Yeah.
like the shot where she's like shocked and then it goes to him and the body's hanging next to him, like the ghost body outside. Like, that would have been a good one, but it's like you don't have both of them on screen. Like it would just be him with the body and
Yeah.
you don't see her. So I ended up going with Bathsheba on the shiverobe. So
It's a good one. It's a good one.
this is I mean, haunting movies have never slowed down necessarily, but I think this kind of is what I always say to people about like Hot Fuzz is one of my all-time favorite comedies, and it goes up into the same realm as Monty Python and Airplane.
Yep.
This is the same way with like The Exorcist and I'm trying to think of what other haunting movie. Amityville Horror, like some of the greatest haunting movies ever. This is like the modern one that kind of is in the same vein as those, in my opinion. It's just an
Yeah.
incredible fucking haunting movie.
Absolutely.
And I mean everything about it, the hide and clap, the fact it's based on a true story. Sorry, Hayden. You know, the family has like what, fucking 8 girls or something. Like it's the huge family. The house is creepy. The Ed and Lorraine stuff is incredible. I mean, Annabelle
Annabelle even makes a guest appearance
to
you know,
start the
cameo.
movie. Yeah, just this movie is just top to bottom. It's incredible. The hide and clap stuff. The tail end of it ends up turning into basically an exorcism.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. I mean, just
Took
this.
a left turn and just kind of like, wait, she did what? And like, and everything. It was one. That's why it's my number 1. I think it's the best film that's come out in the last 25 years for horror. Like, and it's up there for best film. Like,
It's hard to argue.
here's what I would say about The Conjuring. Why it's my number 1. A lot of movies spawn franchises. This movie spawned a fucking universe.
Yes,
Not
correct.
just a franchise, but a fucking universe. Like the Nun from the Conjuring universe, you know, and everything like that. Annabelle from the Conjuring universe.
Yeah. It's made.
Hayden's basement demon from the Conjuring universe. You know, like these all are real things that have happened.
and it's made
so-
like a couple $1 billion, I think. The universe, like all the Annabelle movies, everything
Yeah.
they've done. They still haven't done the Crooked Man from the second one.
That's
they were
right.
They were going to do a spin-off of that, and they should have. That actually gave
Maybe
my
they
brother
still-
nightmares.
Maybe they still can.
That gave my brother nightmares.
Did it really?
The Crooked Man,
Yeah?
like that gangly.
Yeah.
Came out of the little spinner thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, incredible though.
Hayden said too soon.
And watching this with Hayden was an absolute joy.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, it just,
I remember watching it with my wife and just even knowing what was going to happen, I was still on the edge of my seat, which is why it's my number 1.
yeah.
A lot of these I go back and I rewatch and I'm just like, A Quiet Place. Oh, that's scary. Oh, that's that. Oh, this is that part. And oh, I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
The Conjuring is one where I put it on, and I've watched it a few times since I've seen it. Every time I put it on, I've been unsettled, I've
Yeah.
been freaked out, and I've wanted to sleep with a light on.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that good. It gets me every time. It's up there with The Exorcist, like you said, with like
Yeah.
haunting movies and possession movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And the fact that it starts as a haunting movie and you're like, oh, one of them's possessed. And then you get that curveball and everything like that. Great twist, great storytelling, amazing acting and effects too.
Yeah.
So,
Was this the one where the daughter of Ed and Lorraine goes into the haunted room, like where all their shit's at, or was that the second movie? There's the one where their daughter gets put at risk and she ends up like sleepwalking into like
it's
where
first,
Annabelle's at.
No,
and
it's
shit.
the first. It's this one.
It's the first one. I
this
thought
one.
it might be, but
I don't think that she goes in there. I think Annabelle just
Gets
comes
out, yeah.
Yeah, Annabelle just gets out.
yeah, which is always fun.
Annabelle on the loose
I still think Annabelle would be scarier as it really is.
with the
Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Ann doll.
Like the Raggedy Ann is to me is infinitely more scary than that because
that made up
because it's
doll.
not trying to be scary.
Yeah.
The Raggedy Ann, it looks innocent. And that's what almost makes it worse, right?
Yes.
Like the good guy doll.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, when Charles takes over and he becomes Chucky and he's like emoting, he's scary. But it's like there's something creepy about just the factory setting
Mm-hmm.
face of fucking Chucky that's just terrifying because it's not
Absolutely.
supposed to be.
Absolutely.
So. It has a 100 score on my pucker rating. It says. Oh, good stuff. All right. So next up is your number 5
See,
and my number 1.
and you're number 1, which I should have seen this coming.
Let's see. You're number 5. There we go.
Yeah,
All right. We're good.
Hereditary, which is the other one that I teased this earlier. This is the one I taught my daughter
Oh, that's a good
to my
one.
daughter.
That's a good one.
To my wife. The best part is that we have Ring cameras. We have
Yeah.
one in our front room, one for our outside, front door and everything. And after my wife she watched this movie with me. The first time I watched it, she watched it with me. So it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
one that I showed her. We watched it the first time
Together. Okay.
and everything. And so the next 2 months, I was an absolute tad menace to my wife.
Your wife just said she just did it to her 10 minutes ago.
Oh yes, that's my daughter. That's my little lady. I would pop into the Ring camera. I would be extra quiet, and then I would just go. And my wife would just be like, she'd look up at the camera. She'd go, "No, stop it!" She'd just get so mad at me. The movie is unreal.
So see what's going to happen one of these days. She's going to hear that from the camera. She's going to text you all mad, and you're not going to know.
I'm gonna be asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't say it, babe.
That's
He
that's
did.
that's what's gonna happen one of these days. You're gonna be asleep,
I
or
didn't say
your phone died or something, where there's just no possible way for you to have done it.
She
So-
has a message for you. Stop in all caps
Oh.
and an exclamation point.
That's great. I've seen enough horror movies. I know how this works.
Yeah.
It's a setup and payoff.
It's not showing up as my number 5 or your number 1. The picture's up, but the
God damn it. Your number.
5.
Nope, that was that one, and then there we go. Or no, did I not? Maybe it's there. We go. Didn't change the screen, I guess. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I mean, one of the most unsettling things about this movie is that we get to a certain scene which outdoors, which is the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The post of that where it's the
Hayden says cruel.
yeah, where it's outdoors and it's daytime, and I'm like, dude, that's our fucking mountains. And she's like, what? And I paused it because we didn't see it in theaters. We saw it at home. I paused it and I'm like, I pointed. I'm like, that's the fucking mountain range right there. Like that's our mountains. Like
Yeah.
I grew up here in Utah.
Filmed
I've-
largely in Park City.
I
so.
spent 38 years in this valley. That's those mountains. I recognize those fucking mountains. And she's like, are you sure? And I looked up filming locations. The funeral scene was filmed in Sandy, right next to Hayden. So,
Oh, that's fun.
over there in his neck of the woods. Not exactly next to him.
Hayden
but,
says you're a beast.
I mean, and then, like, literally we found a scene just after that where you see a Utah license plate. And I'm like,
Street sign.
a
There's-
street
yeah,
sign.
there's-
I looked up the street and it's like Park City, Utah. And I'm like, that's just right up there. We could.
You guys are just up near there.
That's a day trip for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Indeed.
That's less than an hour drive away from us to go visit these filming locations where this movie took place. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff.
absolutely.
So for me, it's number 1. I mean, this movie just fucking blew me away. I reject wholly the idea of elevated horror.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. Horror's horror, but this movie was just incredible. Toni Collette still was robbed for an Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody acted better than she did that year, period. But it's a horror movie, so she was never going to get... I don't think she got nominated at all. Or if she did, she didn't win. But either way, she should have won. Nobody had a better performance than her that year. This movie, though, I think one of the things that I really take away from it is the filmmaking is just so competent. Things like there is a lot of darkness in the movie, and the director is really good at he'll frame something where like there's one scene where they're just eating dinner. The dinner table area is lit, but there's a very large dark spot, and he lets like almost a half the screen be filled with the darkness that's surrounding them, and it just makes you uneasy because it's like that's not how you would frame that shot. So he's like framing shots poorly, almost, quote unquote. Like you would say it's poor. Like if you went to like an old school director and said like, look at this shot, and he'd be like, oh, that's shitty. Why the fuck are you framing it that way? But because it's a horror, and like there's so much like stuff going on already for the audience that you're kind of making the audience like suspect things.
Yeah.
So then to have those areas where like, or there's also one point where the character is sitting and like it's framed where they're all the way at the edge of the screen, and the rest of the fucking screen is just darkness for the most part.
Like the room is dark.
There's layers to the room and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's like why did you squish that character all the way to the edge of the frame?
What
Like,
am I missing? Where is it? Where's
yeah.
this demon?
Yeah,
Where's this ghoul? Where's this beastie? You know, like where's what I'm supposed to be looking at? Where's it hiding?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even, and there's rarely anything there. It's more of the fact of it's just like
meant to unsettle you.
Yeah, it's like like he knows as a director what you expect with shots.
Yeah.
So he does something exactly opposite to make you. It just makes you uncomfortable, and it's hard to. I don't even think I noticed it the first time. I think it was the second time watching where I was just like, dude, this movie just threw me off and it unsettled me. And it was the second time watching where I was just like, dude, that's why. And I started to notice these shots.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, he's just purposely doing shit just off of what you would normally do. And there's like a language with film that you just like when someone's like leering at someone, like there's a way they shoot that, right? And they don't need to have breathing. They don't need to show bushes in front. You just know like, oh, that's someone watching the person.
Yeah.
It's just because that's the way the shot is built, and we all know from 100 movies that's what it is. So you don't have to. And he just does a lot of stuff like that.
It's like when you put a character at the extreme side of a shot, you're like, okay, something else is here.
Yeah.
And like you said, a majority of the time there wasn't.
There isn't, yeah.
But there was a few times that there was.
Yeah, I did see a reaction video of someone I like watching. They missed the mom on the roof or the ceiling. They completely missed it, the entire scene. Like I was like wanting to scream. I'm like, are you not fucking looking? Like she's right there crawling.
Look up!
Yes.
Look up!
But this movie also, just storytelling wise, it feels like one kind of movie through like 2/3 of it.
Yep.
If not 3/4. And then when you get to that last quarter, it just goes fucking nuts. And I'm not to say that they didn't set a lot of that up.
Kind of like The Conjuring does. Like what we were just talking about. The Conjuring just kind of feels like a haunted house kind of movie. And then all of a sudden it's just, someone's possessed.
It's an exorcism, yeah. And it's not who you suspect, right?
No,
like
it's
you think
not.
it's the daughter, and then it turns out to be the mom. This one is just like suddenly there's like this fucking cult, and they're resurrecting, some like the grandma through the fucking daughter, and then to the son, and like there's it just takes a left turn, and it's incredible. This movie is so well crafted, written, everything about it. It's just. Conjuring is probably where I first started to realize, like, dude, we've got a lot of good horror movies coming out.
Yep.
But the Hereditary is one where I just hit, where I'm just like, I've not seen a movie this good in a long
20 years,
fucking
yeah.
time. Like, this is just incredible, and it's also just well made. I mean, I love all horror, but there's sometimes horror can look a little bit lesser.
Yeah.
Like it just be like it's made like not as polished as an whatever. This one was made to a spot where it's like this looks like an Academy Award winning movie.
And it should have won awards. I did look it up. Toni Collette wasn't even nominated.
Oh my god, dude! There's no one acted better than she did the entire year. But yeah. And then she's not even nominated. So.
And I will say the death of the daughter,
Yeah.
one of the most jarring, horrific things I've ever seen. Like that caught me so off guard.
Oh yeah, and then my favorite is that abrupt cut a few scenes later to the head with the maggots all over it
The
and
ants.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, or is it ants?
It's
yeah,
ants.
it's yeah. Sorry, I'm getting the
Nope,
slides
you're good.
while you're.
So we're going with your number 4. My number 4 has already been revealed. So let's get John's number 4,
So my number 4, okay.
which his number 4 is The Descent, which is one movie that I will never have my wife watch with her claustrophobia.
You should, dude.
Dude, I can't do that to her, man.
That's the whole point
That's,
of horror, man.
No.
Whole point
There's
of
a
horror.
difference between showing someone something scary and putting someone in the hospital with like a panic attack. All right.
Oh, I don't know if there'll be a panic attack.
And we haven't,
but-
and we have not done that to Hayden.
Oh, I've showed Hayden some shit, dude. Bone Tomahawk
Yeah?
had him going.
vomiting.
He says he blacked out during the first Omens.
The first Omen. That's true. He did. He ended up having to leave the theater.
To go throw up, and then he said later
see?
in the movie he ended up blacking out.
Yeah.
So.
We need to. Maybe we need to be a little bit nicer to Hayden.
Not this time of year. It's spooky season.
That's true.
It's all about horror movies, right, Hayden? All right.
All right. So what's your number 4?
My number 4, making sure it's on the screen before I move the thing over. Yes. And this, I don't know if this is one you forgot, but my number 4 is Dr. Sleep.
Nope.
No? Okay.
I don't get me wrong.
So okay, what is it? What is
made
it you saw? Because we've got enough of our list now that it's not.
Hellraiser.
Oh well, the newer
The
one.
Hulu, the Hulu original Hellraiser. I saw Hellraiser right over your left shoulder, and I just went, "Fuck, that movie was so good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always have fun with some Cenobites, but
I know, right? No, Dr. Sleep was on my shotgun list. It's great, but it's not horror enough.
oh
for
man,
me.
I think I think it is for sure. But yeah, I mean whatever. For me, I put on here. This movie is one of those rare films that outdid the King novel, which is very hard to do. And it bridged the Dr. Sleep and The Shining from the King realm.
Yeah.
But everything about this movie, Abra is amazing. I love Ewan McGregor as Dan Torrance. Rose the Hat, like I will give my soul and be with the fucking True Knot to serve, just to be in the same room as Rose the Hat because she is fucking gorgeous and amazing. Hayden's in there talking about the first Omen.
He is.
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
In triplicate too.
I know.
You should do 3 more, Hayden. Then you'll have 6 of them posted in there.
666.
But yeah, I this movie was just incredible. The scare scenes. I mean, there is the degloving scene that's
It's
always
a Flanagan special.
it's Flanagan. So yeah. But like just the haunting stuff, like locking the things up. Those scenes are all scary as fuck. Like the actual overlook was creepy as hell. I just think this was so well done across the board. So yeah, this is up there for me, and the director's cut is an absolute fucking marvel. Just absolutely adore
Yeah.
the director's cut. So, and Baseball Boy,
Oh.
I mean, one of the most brutal.
The fact that they showed help me get the story right. They showed the scene of Stephen King, and he said that they needed to tone it down. right?
Yes. Yeah.
And what's in the film is the toned down version
yes.
of the torture of a 9, 10, 11-year-old boy.
Yeah.
That is brutal.
Yeah. Yes.
You make a better case for this being a horror film.
Yeah, no, it just for me it is. I mean, I can see, but I remember even having that same thought with Quiet Place, where I was
Yeah.
like, "Is this really horror?
Is this really horror?
Like,
Is this
but
more
but
like
then I think about it, I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when you've got this conglomeration of horror. There's times that a horror movie that's a little less horror,
Yes.
you start to like question your sanity. And it's like, is that really horror? But
Yeah.
it certainly is. But Hayden's talking about Muppet hands, but what about the degloving hand of Rose the Hat?
Oof. That looked like it hurt a little bit.
And also even just world building. Because I don't think, if I remember right, when we covered the book in our other show, the whole idea of Grandpa Flick dying, and when she gives the whole line about like, you saw Roman emperors, and like none of that's in the novel. Like that was a creation of Flanagan. Like
Yeah.
we get the sense he's old in the novel, but
They talk about
that whole
they
line
talk
of
about
like,
at one point that they used to travel by wagon
Yes.
in caravans across Europe.
yeah, and they give you that sense, but like her
The
line
her Roman Empire one.
is so fucking and like you've seen kings coming, like she just gives this like short little thing that just gives you the idea of like, oh my god, this dude's literally been around
Yeah.
for 3,000 years. Like it's nuts.
See you, Hayden. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, see you, Hayden. See you next week.
Friday,
Yeah, indeed, should be fun.
week from yesterday.
Indeed. So that is my number
4.
4. Yes.
Yes. So we need John's number 3 and my number 3. So get my number 3 pulled up. And
So your number 3 is ready, and his is The Conjuring.
Yes.
So matches your number
1. You're number 5.
Yep, indeed. So Conjuring, good. I'm glad that everyone has that on the list too, because that is just such a great movie.
It is a fantastic movie.
And then this actually will round mine out.
Your number
because-
2?
Yeah, it is my number 2. So
Number 2.
go ahead and
The Mist. Hold on one second. Don't say anything. Lydia, mute the show until you see the slide change, because I do not want to spoil this for you.
oh god, she hasn't seen it.
She has not seen it yet.
Still, one of my greatest regrets is I found out that Hayden didn't, or I hadn't watched this with him, but he watched it on his own.
Okay, she says we're muted. Okay, we're good. Holy fuck. Like, this movie, to go from just a little short story by Stephen King to
Yeah.
this Frank Darabont
Yeah.
does not get enough credit for this
No,
movie.
he doesn't.
Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile are fantastic movies. This is his crowning joy.
Yeah.
Like, this is his best movie, in my opinion, especially with the horror aspect
Yeah.
for it. But The Mist has such a compelling story.
Yeah.
One of-
Creatures.
one
the
of
creatures
the-
are incredible.
Yeah, the creatures are incredible.
Those
Original.
spiders.
Yeah, original and everything. And
Yeah.
then one of the most heinous motherfucking villains that I've ever seen put to film in television or movies. I hate Mrs. Carmody with every fiber of my being.
I don't remember if you watched this on your own or if I watched it with you, but
We
I
watched it together.
I was gonna say, I know you ended up getting to the point where you were like standing up and pacing and like
Uh-huh.
huffing in anger.
Uh-huh.
Like I think we had to pause it because you were just like,
Dude, you paused it and are like, dude, are you good? Like, you okay? And I'm like, I'm going to fucking hit something. Like, I was so mad I wanted to put my fist through a wall.
all right, Kyle.
I was so mad at her.
You really were, and you get worked up.
I do.
Like I was telling you guys in the chat recently, our text that we have is like, there's just times I watch stuff and I think of Hayden, but there are equally times I think of you, whether it's either something humiliating like Scott's Tots or god awful like that, or even sometimes like something I just know like is gonna fucking anger you.
Yeah.
And then when you watch it down the road, I'm like, just tell me. Whatever, and then when you finally watch it, it'll be like, oh yeah, and you're just like, oh my god, dude, I wanted to fucking like. So I just love it. I vicariously live through you two even when I'm on my own. So
Yeah. I just threw a spoiler in the chat telling my wife to go ahead and call it a show because my number 2 is one that she is not going to want to watch either. She does not do clowns. My number 2 is It. We don't have to finish we don't have to stop talking about The Mist, but
yeah, The Mist. I mean, it's just
we haven't even
it's-
talked about the ending yet.
It's
so.
a timeless classic because the ending. I mean, that's the main thing
Yeah.
with that. Like the whole movie's incredible. There's a lot of good creatures and stuff, but the end is just, it's the reason that it's still as talked about today as it was when it came out. And
so good.
So brilliantly done.
Yeah, we're coming up on 20 years for that in a couple years. The Mist.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I couldn't go so far as to say it's better than Shawshank for me, but I've stood on a hill saying like,
I think okay.
do not
maybe
do,
I misspoke. It deserves as much respect as
yes,
Shawshank.
yeah,
and
it's
Green Mile.
equal to the other two for
Yes.
sure. And I might put it over Green Mile. I love Green Mile, but I think I might put The Mist just because it is horror and I love
Yeah.
horror. So,
But yeah, my number 2 is It.
yeah.
I mean, does it need to be explained?
No. This
I
is a hard
mean-
one to pick a picture for though. There was like Losers Club stuff.
Oh,
there
yeah.
was like different versions of Pennywise.
Of course, you
like-
had to do Pennywise. You should have done the hand from the GIF. That's the one you should have done. You should see about putting GIFs into the slideshow and see like.
We've done gifts before.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Horrible ones, if I remember right.
Yes, indeed. Hobblings.
Hobblings and
And
whatnot.
Judd Crandall
Yes,
getting his Achilles
Yep.
sawed through with a scalpel.
indeed.
Scalpel.
It is is my favorite Stephen King book.
Yeah, singular.
Singular, aside from The Dark Tower. I reread it once a year, sometimes twice a year. If I read it, in February, I'll read it again in December or November. This movie blew me away.
Yeah.
Like-
They did a great job. And we were podcasting for a couple years into this.
Yeah.
And we weren't covering a lot of extra outside of the Dark Tower by that point, but I do know we were at least talking about it in person, and I remember just like thinking like, how is this dude gonna step into Tim Curry's shoes?
Yeah,
Like,
how is he gonna do it?
And when they finally unveiled like that first image of him in the sewer, it was like, okay, they're gonna go so different stylistically that will help him differentiate himself. And I just remember like the lead up to that where it was kind of like the Avengers, where I was just like, how is Avengers going to work, dude? How can you do 5 heroes in one movie? Like, this is going to be impossible. This could blow up. And I remember that with it where it's like, this could just not work. And when we finally saw it, it was like, oh my fucking God. Like,
There were 6 Avengers, by the way.
they did it. Like like one, and like, dude, I just saw one recently on my reels. Sometimes I'll get like bearded dragons, and I'll send them to my mom because she likes bearded dragons.
Yeah.
And there was one they had dressed up like Pennywise, and guess which version it was?
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård, man. So
We've had that conversation about which Pennywise do you see, Skarsgård or Tim Curry?
yeah,
And
I'd say it's
it's
75-25.
I was gonna say 70-30. So right around there is what we're both seeing. So
which is wild.
and this was your honorable mention, one of your honorable mentions, right?
It was. It was.
You thought I was gonna be mad at you for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the love of the book is the reason why it's so high for me, and you don't have that. It would be the same if like The Stand had a horror film,
Yeah.
that would be the equivalent. So I understand it. I get it. I'm not mad.
Yeah, no, and to me, like, dude, literally, this is the hardest list I've ever done. Like, in terms of like just whittling it down. I've had some hard lists where it's been like there's been some decisions, but this one was just like, even into the other podcast for 9 years we've been podcasting.
Didn't we do a top 10 horror movies already?
Yeah, but I don't know why that one was so much easier.
Because you have classics, so you're like, this has to go on the list.
Probably, yeah. That there was just ones that were immutable.
The Exorcist, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street.
For this one, I think probably The Conjuring and Hereditary were probably the only ones right out of the gate. I'm like, these have to be on the list. But outside of that, it was just a matter of like, build this shotgun list out, and then like try to whittle it down. And it was just like, dude, what the fuck, dude? This was hard for me. So, because again, we're in a fucking golden age, man. There's some incredible horror coming out, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. It seems that we're still getting a lot of wonderful stuff. So, yeah, I mean, just so much stuff. But yeah, that's our lists.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good, fun, spooky season topic. Let's go ahead and move on over to the emails. If you want to email the show, give us some feedback, tell us what you think. And then, did we say John's Saw for number 1?
I don't think we said his number 2 either.
The Ring? I thought we did because you said it was yours. I thought
we said The Conjuring.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah,
so
John,
so
dropping the ball here.
Yeah, John's number 2 is The Ring, and John's number 1 is Saw,
which is totally understandable. Saw matches your list, both of our lists.
My number 4.
So Saw
right?
was on all 3 lists, and then The Conjuring is on all 3 lists. So yeah, there was a couple that were across the board. So and then good stuff though. Saw is incredible.
No Ring on your list.
Yeah, I think I missed that one for first, and I saw it. Or did we see it in theater, or did we watch it on?
I think
home?
we watched it on tape, like DVD, because I think I brought my copy over.
Yeah, because
and
watched it, and I enjoyed it. I just missed it in theaters. I mean, it was harder to go to movies back then when you had so much less money. When you're working for $5 an hour.
We were going to. It was during high school because it came out in 2002. So we were going to school, then working like 15 hours a week at $5 an hour. Like that's not a lot of money, but also took up some of your time after school. But you also still had to do homework. Well, I did. You didn't do homework, so.
But yeah, no. So I missed out on it in theaters. I saw it eventually, but I haven't revisited it much. I think I might need to revisit it because I think I was even watching a reaction video in the last couple years, and there were story elements of it toward the tail end that I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot about that. Like so, because you think that Samantha's the victim,
right?
Yeah,
right. That's what I was saying when I was talking about it. It's like, oh, this poor girl and everything like that. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
No. She was put down in the well for a reason. She's bad.
Yeah. It's like the classic trope in movies is when you open a door and it's like, wait, the lock was on the outside.
Yeah.
There's a beastie or something there was being locked in, right? Like that's always that revelation moment where like the one character will bring it up. Why was the lock on the outside of the door? It's like
It's also like don't ever open a mirror in a horror movie. You know, like go into the bathroom. You don't open the mirror.
have you ever had one of those mirrors in any of your houses?
the
Like
one?
where you open the medicine cabinet windows or mirrors?
So what we had in my house growing up is we actually had the same mirror upstairs and downstairs. We had the two bathrooms. We had a 3-sided.
Yeah,
so
most of them I've seen are
You
three-sided.
could open the two in, and then the one would open.
Yeah,
that
one
way.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had it. I've been in bathrooms that have had them and stuff, but I don't think I've ever lived in a place. And I moved a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
That had that kind of mirrors. I always wanted one because it's just horror-ish.
Yeah.
So also these new French door fridges suck because it doesn't have the same coverage. So
Yeah.
when you open the fridge and then this ghoul will be there when you close it and it'll be there to
Yep.
scare you. So good stuff though. But if you want any feedback or whatever, send emails over to peter@geekeryabides.com or tad@geekeryabides.com. Tad is TADD. The next episode, of course, is mine. I've already teased it because I wanted to give everyone ample time.
Yep.
And it is The Haunting of Hill House, of course, because of my Halloween marathon. I had to watch it before October. So
I'm
I
going to
watched
start my rewatch now.
I watched it last week, which was a lot of fun. Such a great thing, so I can't wait to just dive into it deep.
Yep.
And that'll round us out for spooky season.
Yeah.
Official spooky season. Because on this podcast, I don't know.
Spooky
If,
season is 24/7,
I was about to say,
365.
yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if you agree, but on my part of the show, spooky season, starts on October 1st and it ends on September.
It starts
30.
October 1st at 12:02 a.m. and ends at September 30th at 11:59 p.m. There's a couple minutes in there where it's just not spooky season.
Nah, 1 second. I'll give him a second.
1 minute.
1 second.
1 minute.
1 second.
Give me 60 seconds.
Nah, that's too much.
Too much for Ted?
Yes,
Too much
too,
for Ted.
too much non-spooky. Because what if I'm watching a horror movie at that time? That would be terrible. To know I've lost coverage.
That's true.
But yeah, so next time, Haunting of
That
Hill
just
House.
means you're just watching a spooky movie out of season, which is still okay to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm giving you a lot by giving you a second here.
Second a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot to give up for spooky season. But yeah, so we'll be back in a fortnight for that. It will be on October 19th. Big number for the other show because 19 is important in the Dark
Yep.
Tower. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. And I will sign off as I always do by saying, love what you love, let your geek flag and spooky flag fly high, and to hell with anyone that says anything about guilty pleasures, especially with horror movies.
Yep.
Because all these people that downplay horror, horror, there's almost people that apologize. Well, I'm kind of a sucker for these shitty horror. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, horror is great.
Horror's amazing.
Embrace it. All of
Yeah.
it. Slashers, like B-rate, fucking Black
Just-
Sheep, like all of it.
Just not werewolf movies.
Oh, werewolf movies.
No.
Yes, what is it? Was it a billion people that had that gene in that?
Yeah.
So it's like a billion people,
Yeah.
which is, what, a seventh of the planet?
Yeah.
So
Something like that.
got that, and then Wolfman, which is going to be pure horror. Can't wait for that. So what about you, sir? How are you signing out? All right, see you guys.
Bye, everyone.